AccuWeather.com meteorologist Heather Zare.
We have two parts of the country where the weather will be in pretty good shape. One is going to be most of the southeast, where we have sunny skies that are going to be the rule across southern parts of the mid-Atlantic on down through Florida and back along the Gulf Coast, at least into central parts of the area. Then we're going to start to get into more cloudiness, and that's going to be associated with a storm system moving through the southern plains. On the other side of that storm system, though, the southwest is also going to be pretty sunny for today. Highs are mostly going to be in the 70s across California, and we'll see 50s and 60s across Nevada. However, that area in between is going to be the focus of most of the unsettled weather in the country for today. Heavy rainfall is going to be a factor, especially in areas that extend from around Dallas-Fort Worth up through Oklahoma City. Perhaps by tonight, that will extend all the way over through much of Arkansas, too. South of that area of heavy rain, we're going to be seeing thunderstorms firing up as we go through today and into the early part of tonight. That can not only bring heavy rainfall, but could also cause severe weather issues. We have a chance for damaging winds and hail in some of those storms, and there is at least a small chance for a tornado. Another wet area in the country will be Washington, where we have some rainy weather on the way. That's going to spread inland across Idaho for today and eventually over into parts of Montana tonight. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Heather Zare.
A Florida House committee has okayed a bill to repeal a law that's been on the books since 1868. Soon, Florida may join most of the other states and leave only Michigan and Mississippi as states where it's still illegal to be shacked up. Harvard has joined American University and Ohio University in offering to let students pick their gender pronouns, he, she, or Z. Oh, yeah, that's going to catch on. This is America in the Morning, 23 before the hour. Good morning, I'm Jim Bohannon. Robert Workman Sports is approaching, but not quite here yet. On Capitol Hill, Terry Moore has watched something new.
A page is turned, a new chapter has begun.
House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi formally introduced Wisconsin Republican Paul Ryan as the new Speaker of the House. Ryan was elected by majority Republicans.
Let's be frank. The House is broken.
Ryan did not sugarcoat things in the deeply divided House.
We're not solving problems. We're adding to them. And I am not interested in laying blame. We are not settling scores. We are wiping the slate clean.
Ryan took over for now former Speaker John Boehner, who is retiring from Congress after roughly 25 years.
I leave with no regrets, no burdens. If anything, I leave the way I started. I'm just a regular guy, humbled by the chance to do a big job.
Speaker Ryan called Boehner a man of character and a true class act. I'm Terry Moore on Capitol Hill.
So the House of Representatives is under new management, that of Paul Ryan from the state of Wisconsin, the youngest speaker since 1869. And he takes over a position certainly that was not kind in later years to his predecessor, John Boehner. How kind will it be to Paul Ryan? Let's talk about that with Veronique DeRogie, Senior Research Fellow with the Mercatus Center at George Mason University, and also a person who writes a weekly syndicated column and provides regular columns for Reason Magazine and blogs at National Review online. First of all, the honeymoon for Speaker Ryan. Is that already over?
Yes, I think it's already over. I mean, because of the circumstances and because really Ryan was drafted against his will, but also with less than a real true consensus among his colleagues. Yeah, I think it's over.
And by cleaning out the barn, as the outgoing speaker, John Boehner, put it, by cleaning out the barn and, among other things, of course, getting a budget deal passed that doesn't require this constant continuing resolutions, this supposedly clears the decks until March of 2017, which is to say after the next election, after, in fact, the next president and next Congress take office. That did not buy Ryan any more time on this honeymoon.
Well, first, let's not forget that the budget deal is not done yet, right? It's going through the Senate, and then it will be over if the Senate doesn't amend it, doesn't change anything, right? That will be over. But then if the Senate makes changes or reject it as it is, right? They're going to have to meet in conference, and then it's going to have to, whatever document they produce, that will be under the leadership of Chairman Ryan, and that will go back.
Now, let me ask you this: given that the Senate is, you have the Democrats, who presumably the administration is certainly happy with the deal, so they should go along, and you have not exactly a conservative firebrand in Mitch McConnell, leader of Senate Republicans. It would seem that you have a situation in which it should pass fairly easily.
I think it would, but I think there's going to be some token opposition. I mean, token. I don't say that in a.
Well, you got the Rand Paul filibuster, but I mean that's not going to last forever.
It's not going to change anything. So yeah, no, you're right. I assume it's not going to be a major problem for Ryan, but let's not forget there's the highway bill that's coming next, and that could be very contentious. It's going to be a test for Ryan. This is seen by many as the last opportunity to actually shove a lot of, whatever priorities one has, special interests have, and how he handled this is going to be a real test. And this is really coming very soon.
To what extent do you think that Paul Ryan will be his own man or simply John Boehner 2.0?
I mean, they're different guys. I think Paul Ryan is more like Boehner in the sense that he has an understanding of what it is to govern that maybe requires a heavy dose of pragmatism and that some may see as unprincipled. But he is also very different than Speaker Boehner in that he is a real wonk. I mean, this is fundamentally a policy guy, and so I think he's shown it in a lot of instances, and I've got to imagine that it's going to influence the way he is as a speaker. This is, after all, why he was dragging his feet to become a speaker, is because he really wanted to be the Ways and Means chairman, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee.
And that is Veronique DeRoger, Senior Research Fellow with the Mercatus Center at George Mason University, as we've arrived now at 17 before the hour. Coming up on America in the Morning, Halloween safety after these messages.
If you can't recall your own cell phone number, but know the braking distance of a half-ton pickup traveling downhill at 57 miles per hour, then CarQuest Auto Parts is for you. That's because CarQuest Auto Parts is for those who really know and care about their car. Right now, get a half-inch drive click-style torque wrench, a $34.99 value for just $10 with the purchase of CarQuest Platinum brake pads and 2 rotors. CarQuest is serious auto parts.
See participating stores for details. Geico applauds your inner journey seeker.
Geico gives a hearty pat on the back to the part of you that just wants to get out and ride your motorcycle, to take to the open road, and let the wind and bugs fly your way. In fact, bring on the bugs. They can't stop your quest for highway enlightenment. Geico insures not only your car, but also that fine-looking bike of yours, with a custom-tailored policy and the best rates for you. So next time you suit up for adventure, make sure to take Geico along for the ride.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
This is Tom Wolletner, and I approve this ad. This is Dan Robbins, Bellingham Port Commissioner, asking you to vote for and re-elect my colleague, Tom Wolletner, to the Port of Shelton. Tom is a dedicated commissioner, always putting the Port of Shelton first. Open communication, sound decisions, and job creation are qualities that Tom has demonstrated in the past and will continue to in the future as your Port Commissioner. Tom Wolletner has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help lead the Port of Shelton in their important work for the residents of Mason County. Tom Wolletner is as rock solid as they come. His commitment to his family and wife of 55 years and to his community for the past 35 years are second to none. A vote to re-elect Tom Wolletner as your Port Commissioner is a positive vote for the Port of Shelton and future jobs in Mason County.
Paid for by the committee to elect Tom Wolletner, Port Commissioner.
15 before the hour on America in the Morning. Halloween might have actually been scary, but that asteroid, the size of the Empire State Building, will miss Earth by about 310,000 miles tomorrow morning. a bit further away than the moon. As long-distance calls go, 200 miles isn't all that far unless you count straight up. Alan Skaya has the story in 3, 2, 1.
Kids at Daggett Montessori School in Fort Worth got to ask the astronauts questions over radio frequencies.
At our school, we have an aquaponics system that we grow lettuce in. How did you grow yours, and what did it taste like? How did you feel when you first looked back at Earth? Over.
Sandy Yandel teaches 6th grade science. She was growing up when man first walked on the moon.
Let the kids understand what an amazing feat this is. They heard Till Ingram talking to them from outer space.
Yandel helped pick which students would get the chance.
We asked them to ask a question that they couldn't just YouTube and find a video on, and they did a great job.
They took time out of their mission in space to talk to us. I feel really lucky that I got to do this.
7th grader Riker Grissom asked how microgravity affects the astronauts' equipment.
It's a really incredible experience. And when I found out that I was going to get to talk to them, I was really excited.
4th grader Ava Stubblefield asked which experiment was the astronauts' favorite.
I was so excited that it's been like waiting for your birthday or Christmas.
A lot of our experiments are ongoing. I'll tell you that my favorite experiment to work on that veggie experiment where we grew lettuce.
The discussion came on the day astronaut Scott Kelly was setting the American record with his 217th consecutive day in space. He'll spend a year on the International Space Station as NASA tries to learn the effect that a trip to Mars would have on the body. Alan Skaya, Fort Worth.
Are you set for Halloween? Mickey Briggs wants to make sure.
I was working in the lab late one night.
Tomorrow is that one night of the year when you're probably doing one of three things: turning out all the lights in your house and watching a movie in the back room until you quit hearing. Or you're headed to a private party to show off that wild costume you've been working on. Or you're ushering the little ones around your neighborhood. If you're going to a party, remember to be responsible. If you're chaperoning the kids, take lots of flashlights and wear reflective costumes. Also, watch out for that one house where the lady always comes out each year dressed as a witch and says,
"I'll get you, my pretty."
So whatever your plans are for Saturday night, remember to keep the kids safe and don't forget to have fun. I'm Mickey Briggs.
Yes, as for who had fun last night, good morning, Robert Workman.
Gracious good morning to you. Oh, scary. It was pretty scary for the Dolphins to start week 8 last night. Well, they had to go to Foxborough, and that doesn't work out well for them. Patriots pounded the Dolphins 36-7 to become the first team to 7-0 this season in the NFL. Tom Brady threw for 356 yards and 4 scores, 2 of them to Julian Edelman. Brady's 19th game with at least 4 TD passes. That's the most ever by an NFL quarterback, moves him ahead of Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. Stephen Gostkowski booted field goals of 52 and 36 yards. That gives him 26 in a row now. That breaks Adam Vinatieri's franchise record. For Miami, their first loss under interim head coach Dan Campbell. They also lost their Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Wake to an Achilles injury. Sunday, the Lions will play the Chiefs in London, the last of the overseas games for this year. And then the other undefeated teams, the 4 remaining with a 0 in the loss column, will get underway, including the Bengals and Steelers in an early kickoff. Also, at the 1 o'clock games on Sunday, the Chargers are at the Ravens. Cardinals visit the Browns. 49ers are at the Rams. Buccaneers and Falcons go at it in Atlanta. Giants play the Saints. Vikings play the Bears. And the Titans are at the Texans. 4 o'clock games, Seahawks and Cowboys. And the Jets and Raiders. It's a Heidi Bowl rematch, everybody. Then Sunday night, 2 of the remaining unbeatens go at it in Denver. Packers, Broncos. And Monday night, we get the last of the unbeatens. The Panthers are home against those Indianapolis Colts. Baseball World Series took last night off. The Royals basking in their 2-0 lead. The Mets hoping that home cooking will get them back in this thing. Games 3, 4, and 5 scheduled for Citi Field in New York tonight. Yordano Ventura and Noah Syndergaard, the scheduled starters. Off the field, plenty of movement on Thursday. The Padres hired Diamondbacks third base coach Andy Green as their new manager. Green had managed in the Arizona farm system, but this past season was his first with the big league club after 12 years in the organization. He replaces Pat Murphy, who also had no major league experience when he was hired to replace Bud Black last June. The Marlins are reportedly set to hire ex-Dodgers manager Don Mattingly, with the official announcement likely to come after the World Series. Miami may use that interval to find a new general manager. Dan Jennings, who went from GM to manager this year and then at the end of the season was asked to go back up to the front office, was asked not to come into the office yesterday, fired as general manager. President of Baseball Operations Michael Hill will assume the GM duties for now. but it's the Marlins, so, who knows? Who's really in charge over there? And the Blue Jays are looking for a new GM as well after Alex Anthopoulos turned down a 5-year contract and resigned from the club. Word is that Anthopoulos, who pulled off those trades for Josh Donaldson, David Price, and Troy Tulowitzki to get Toronto back in the playoffs this year for the first time since '93, felt like he might have a diminished role under new team president Mark Shapiro, who came over from the Indians, actually takes the job officially on Monday. And, of course, when the general manager leaves, often the manager follows him out the door. So, John Gibbons, you might want to pick up that dry cleaning today and not wait for the weekend. We'll see. And college football last night, number 5 TCU flattened West Virginia 40-10. Trevon Boykin staking his claim to the Heisman Trophy, passed for 388 yards and 3 touchdowns, rushed for 84 yards and another score, and in the process broke the school record for career total offense, which had belonged to Andy Dalton, the Bengals quarterback. Josh Doxson caught 11 passes for 183 yards and 2 scores. The Horned Frogs are now 8-0. Number 23 Pittsburgh lost to North Carolina 26-19. Tar Heel quarterback Marquise Williams had TD passes of 71 and 32 yards. Carolina now 7-1, their best start since 1997. This weekend, Ohio State and Baylor have bye weeks. The only top 25 matchup, number 9 Notre Dame at number 21 Temple. What is this, 1979? Honestly. NBA last night, the Grizzlies passed the Pacers 112-103. Memphis led by 15 in the first quarter, but found themselves down 9 in the third before they went on a 7-0 run, and then finished up the game on an 18-7 run. Hawks nailed the Knicks 112-102 for their first win of the year, and the Clippers mashed the Mavericks 104-88. 26 points and 10 rebounds for Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan, who almost signed with the Mavericks over the summer, 6 points, 15 rebounds, 4 block shots. They did that whole Hacka Jordan thing, and they talked a little trash. I believe they said something about the dozens. Okay. In the NHL, the Penguins blunted the Sabres 4-3. Jeff Zatkoff made 50 saves. Evgeny Malkin had a goal on the power play. Pittsburgh's won 6 out of 7. Sidney Crosby got 2 assists. It's only the second game this year he's made the score sheet, his worst start in his career. Hurricanes stranded the Islanders 3-2 in overtime. Ron Hainsey scored midway through extra time, back-to-back game winners for the Carolina Blue Liner. Devils, Avalanche, Blues, and Jets were winners. The Oilers rallied past the Canadiens 4-3, and the Stars got by the Canucks 4-3 in overtime. Jamie Benn, the NHL's leading scorer, beat Ryan Miller halfway through OT. He's now got 9 goals and 17 points on the season. And racing this weekend, it's race number 7 in the Sprint Cup, and they are at Talladega, Alabama. That's Friday Sports.
Well, that's Robert Workman, and it is 7 before the hour.
Call me crazy, and I may be, but I believe in love.
And maybe you should. Next on America in the Morning, after these messages.
I swear I keep seeing shadows.
If you're looking to save money on Medicare Part D prescriptions, just swing by Walgreens. With everything from copays as low as $1 on select plans to now reward points on all prescriptions, Walgreens helps you get more. And who doesn't like more? So seize those Medicare Part D savings because you, my friend, have earned them. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
$1 copay for Tier 1 generics. Points can't be earned in New York, New Jersey, and Arkansas. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
At Geico, we've been innovating car insurance for over 75 years with forward-thinking ideas like online quotes and the Geico mobile app. And to prove it, we'll play one of our first radio commercials from 75 years ago.
By Jiminy, Geico could save you money on your car insurance, which is what we'll be doing over 75 years from now. Who knows? Maybe with some sort of application that's accessible on a futuristic handheld device. We'll call them online quotes.
See? Forward thinking.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Shelton, you make us smile. Delta Dental of Washington will be in town November 2nd through 4th in Mason County. We want to hear from you. Tell us today, who makes you smile? And those who may need a smile boost. Delta Dental will be in town promoting random acts of smile power. Email your nominations today to smilepower@deltadentalwa.com. Delta Dental, celebrating the power of smiles in Shelton and across Washington.
Thanks for backwashing. You'll love the way your water looks, smells, and tastes. Water systems as low as $495 for city water and $849 for well water. Try now, pay later. Satisfaction guaranteed. Wave Home Solutions for advanced air and water technologies. For more information, call 1-866-984-6994 or go to cleanwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy car.
comfortable home.
5 before the hour, and the sniper takes aim at a new role. Jeremy Roth says it's now showing.
In Burnt, Bradley Cooper plays an arrogant, down-and-out chef trying to return to the top of the culinary world.
I want to make my kitchen the best in the world.
Service! Hey, chef! His quest takes him to a London restaurant where he's determined to get the highest honor in the restaurant industry, 3 Michelin stars. You can't do it. Burnt is rated R. In Our Brand is Crisis, Sandra Bullock plays a former political operative who's called back into service to help a South American presidential candidate. Along the way, she learns there's more at stake than just a political victory.
It actually kind of matters, Jay. This country could go under. We're talking about people's lives.
This is no longer an election. This is the crisis.
Our Brand is Crisis is rated R. On the eve of their last campout, 3 Boy Scouts have to team up with a cocktail waitress to save their hometown in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
But tonight, we're going to show them what being a real scout's all about. We're just going to stay in here and we're going to go save the world.
Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse is rated R. I'm Jeremy Roth.
4 before the hour, now Jan Sluicer and the San Francisco Ghost Hunt.
I got the message. I just want other people to be able to experience it and see that there really is something going on here. We don't know exactly what it is.
For 17 years, Jim Fassbinder has been leading supernatural adventure walking tours of Pacific Heights, home to Gold Rush era Victorian homes and schools. It starts at the Queen Anne, a late 1800s girls' school renovated as a Victorian era hotel. Fassbinder says the Queen Anne is haunted by former headmistress Mary Lake, who manifests in different ways.
Cold spots, glowing balls of light, it's all over the map, but it's always been a friendly ghost, and the interactions have always been positive.
After the Queen Anne, the ghost hunt continues on foot through Pacific Heights, where the tour often meets 3 more ghosts. Fassbinder tells their haunting tales, identifying them as Mary Ellen, the Voodoo Queen, Flora, the floating ghost, and Gertrude, an author known for her wild rum parties.
They're all from one particular part of time, and they're all female, on the ones that I talk about.
Fassbinder says although many people are scared of ghosts, it's a waste of energy.
There's a Chinese proverb that says, be more afraid of living people than ghosts, and I do subscribe to that.
Fassbinder says the best part for him is when cynics have an unearthly experience on his ghost hunt and become believers. Jan Sluicer, San Francisco.
What's the best city for Halloween fun? New York City, says a WalletHub.com survey, and the worst, St. Petersburg, Florida. Maybe that's because by the time it's dark out, no one is awake to hand out treats. If you're trick-or-treating in Canada, an Ontario-based burger joint, The Works, is offering a burger stuffed with Reese's peanut butter cups. And, Chris Christie made some noise at the last Republican presidential debate, but the New Jersey governor got in trouble for that recently by using his cell phone aboard an Amtrak Quiet car. That should do it for America in the Morning for Friday, October 30th of 2015. On this date in 2004, Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker married former Miss USA Shanna Moakler. This is not their happy 11th. Also, we can tell you Henry Winkler, the Fonz, is 70 today. Grace Slick is 76, and Ivanka Trump, the Donald's daughter, is 34. Our producer is Tom Delac, senior producer Kevin Delaney. We're at JimboTalk.net. This is Westwood One.
Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti with today's Money Pit Minute.
Too many tools? That's a good problem to have. When we return, we'll shed some light on a good place to keep them. Great Floors is proud to sponsor the Money Pit on KMAS, and for over 40 years, they've been proud to provide quality flooring for Northwest families and businesses from showrooms throughout the Puget Sound. We invite you to visit your Lacey Great Floors on Martin Way and shop the Northwest's largest in-stock selection of carpet, hardwood, and vinyl from America's top mills, all ready to install in your home. And Great Floors is now your source for natural stone and quartz countertops, too. Visit greatfloors.com today.
You only think about your home's exterior trim when it starts to crack, rot, or peel. You can replace this with new detail pieces made from high-density polyurethane. There are hundreds of styles, and it's ultra-durable and low-maintenance, so once you install it, you'll never have to think about it again.
You can do it yourself.
But you don't have to do it alone. For more tips, go to moneypit.com.
CNBC Business Radio reports are on KMAS Shelton, Monday through Friday, 6:58, 1:33, and 4:33.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. When fire broke out in the engine of a passenger jet on the tarmac at Fort Lauderdale's airport, terrified passengers pushed for the exits. Several were hurt in the leap out of the plane from the emergency chutes. The NTSB is investigating, and ABC's Scott Goldberg tells us it's not the first time this has happened.
It was just an incident, authorities say, but it could have been a disaster when an apparent fuel leak on a Dynamic Airways jet carrying 101 people to Caracas, Venezuela, turned into a fireball on the runway in Fort Lauderdale.
Engines on fire, engines on fire.
Quick work got the passengers down the inflatable slides.
I couldn't see anything. I still smell like smoke.
Only 2 were admitted to the hospital. That's one investigation. Another at New York's JFK.
It's about 300 feet above us.
A British Airways jet on approach had a close call with a drone. Scott Goldberg, ABC News.
Dodging the bullet of a government shutdown, the Senate stayed up all night to pass a new budget. ABC's Bazi Kanani has details.
63-35, the vote tally for the 3 a.m. final vote in the Senate on a new budget, delayed when Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul railed against it for more than an hour.
Enough is enough. We shouldn't be adding more debt.
Democrats partnered with Republican defense hawks to pass the bill that equally splits new spending over the next 2 years between domestic programs and the military. Bazi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
Jeb Bush publicly insists his campaign isn't on life support, but sources say he told a private group of supporters he knows he has to do better after a debate performance some have called lackluster. Honda is recalling more than 300,000 Accords because the side airbags can inflate if you slam the door too hard. The recall involves 2008 and 2009s. Harrison Ford says he remembers well the engine of his small plane stopping, but he doesn't remember the crash landing or anything 5 days after. Ford also told Jimmy Kimmel Live there's a good reason Luke Skywalker's not on the Star Wars poster. There wasn't room. This is ABC News.
The smarter way to manage business expenses, presented by Concur.
After my conference, I checked out of the hotel and the bill was automatically added to my expense report. Then I hopped into a taxi. I snapped a photo of the receipt using Concur, and bam, there it was on my expense report. Then I used my corporate card to buy the client's lunch. Another charge added to my expense report.
Expense reports that write themselves. Just one of the many ways Concur helps manage your company's spend so you can focus on the big picture. Take a free test drive today at tryconcur.com.
This is Lori Grenier. You've seen me on Shark Tank hearing pitches from small businesses. Now, there's a new way for small businesses to get a loan in minutes. It's called Kabbage. That's Kabbage with a K. Just fill out the application online. You'll get an instant decision and could have access to a line of credit of up to $100,000. No waiting, no hassle. Kabbage is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and is a Forbes Top 100 company. Go to Kabbage.com. That's Kabbage with a K, Kabbage, or call 888-KABBAGE.
Film director Roman Polanski is due in a Polish court today that could extradite him to the U.S. to face charges in connection with a 1977 sex conviction. The BBC's Adam Easton has an update.
If the court in the city of Krakow rules against the U.S. request, the matter will end there. If it decides Mr. Polanski can be extradited to the U.S., the final decision will be taken by Poland's justice minister. The 82-year-old Oscar-winning director is not under arrest and gave evidence at an earlier hearing. He is considered by many in Poland to be the country's greatest living artist. But Polish politics have swung to the right with the election of the Conservative Law and Justice Party last weekend.
Pharrell Williams will perform during Sunday services at the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, the same church where a gunman fatally shot 9 people months ago. It'll be filmed for a program that's part of A&E Network's campaign to confront issues of race and promote unity. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton is going to study 25 sites for pollution and seek federal funding to clean them if necessary. Shelton City Commissioners Mike Olson and Tracy Moore voted in favor of the study this week. Mayor Gary Krantz opposed the decision, saying he feared a negative impact on future business development. The city staff is authorized to seek a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency through their Brownfields program, which provides money and technical assistance to assess sites, clean them if needed, and help sustainably reuse them. The action was requested by City of Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines. His proposal authorizes the mayor to sign a contract with Bellevue-based Stantec Consulting Services to work on applying to be a part of the EPA brownfields process. According to Goines, the hazardous waste site assessments and possible future cleanup work could be a catalyst in the redevelopment of commercial and industrial properties in Shelton. The bear cub found wandering around a power substation in Mason County last week is one of 3 cubs that have been taken to Idaho Black Bear Rehab near Boise. Mason County PUD spokesman Joel Meyer said somehow the cub, whom he named Sparky and was estimated to be about 40 pounds, scaled the substation fence and wandered among high voltage equipment, including circuit breakers. Fish and wildlife officials used donuts to lure the cub into a trap. IBBR will fatten up the cubs, recover their health, and move them into a normal hibernating period. Jerry Apple, the teacher leader of SADD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, along with student Rachel, stopped by Daybreak to talk about the purpose of Red Ribbon Week.
So Red Ribbon Week is where we're celebrating basically people who aren't texting and driving and spreading the awareness not to text and drive and to buckle up, and explaining our club to people and what we do to spread awareness.
Rachel is correct in that this week we have been emphasizing the students to sign a pledge banner, and the pledge banner was provided to us by State Farm, and we've been handing out thumb rings to encourage the students not to text. And we gave out a lot of thumb rings this week. The red ribbon also means that we want you to be drug-free.
During the Shelton High Climber football game, they'll have a table set up for students to pledge against texting and driving. Everyone who takes the pledge will be registered to win a gift certificate. It'll be given away with a drawing in between the 3rd and 4th quarter. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Hi, it's Dale from the Daybreak Show, inviting you to join Jeff Slakey and myself every morning from 6 till 9. We have what we think is a pretty compelling mix of news, information, and interviews.
Hi, this is Dick Taylor from the Port of Shelton.
Hi, this is Mike Patty, Assistant Chief with Central Mason Fire and EMS.
This is Detective William Adam at the Mason County Sheriff's Office.
This is Commissioner Randy Netherland, and you're listening to Daybreak.
Daybreak.
Daybreak. Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS.
On KMAS.
On Newsradio 1030 KMAS.
Is your family doing some growing? Whether it's an expansion of your home or the addition of a new family car, Peninsula Credit Union can provide fast, friendly service with terrific rates. We offer personal lines of credit, affordable auto loans, and a variety of home loan options to get you moving. Visit our offices in Shelton, Belfair, Paulsbo, Port Orchard, and Port Townsend, or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports.
Tom waits on the shotgun snap. Brady takes the snap. He looks left. He throws for Edelman with the grab. Dives to the goal line. Touchdown, Patriots.
On WBZ-FM, the Patriots ripped Miami 36-7 in Foxborough. Tom Brady threw for 356 yards and 4 touchdowns.
You know, the guys, I think, did a great job tonight on a short week. We put a lot into it. It was an intense 3 days of preparation and felt like we were really ready to go.
New England is 7-0. The Dolphins 3-4. Miami also lost 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Wake, who was carted off with an Achilles tendon injury. The Texans say defensive end J.J. Watt expected to play against Tennessee on Sunday after dealing with a sore back. 5th-ranked TCU improved to 8-0 on the season.
Hicks stays out there. They'll give it to Kyle Hicks. No, Boykin flipped it hard. Dotson scores again. Oh, my! Dotson for the score.
On the TCU Sports Network from IMG, the Horned Frogs crushed West Virginia 40-10. Trevon Boykin tossed 3 touchdowns. North Carolina dropped 23rd-ranked Pittsburgh 26-19. The Tar Heels are 7-1. NBA, you know the story. Over the summer, DeAndre Jordan was about to sign with Dallas, but had a change of heart and stayed with the Clippers. So last night, the Mavericks paid a visit to Los Angeles with owner Mark Cuban of the Mavericks in the front row, who said before the game when asked about Jordan, quote, "I don't even know who you're talking about." So over to the game.
Griffin down the lane. The lob inside to DJ. Slams it home.
Blake held onto that ball for a couple of seconds and then threw it up there for DJ.
On KFWB, Jordan said it was an emotional game. Blake Griffin had 26 points. Clippers 104-88 over Dallas. Game 3 of the World Series tonight from Citi Field in New York. Royals lead the Mets 2-0. Mets skipper
Terry Collins.
We're glad to be home. We've got our fan base behind us now, and there's a lot of confidence in the clubhouse.
Giordano Ventura faces Noah Syndergaard. On ice, Dallas beat Vancouver in overtime 4-3. Edmonton, a 4-3 winner over Montreal. St. Louis knocked off Anaheim 2-1. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS, FM 1033, and online, KMAS.com. Good morning. It's Friday morning. It's the 30th of October. We got a special guest host in here with me this morning. You can see Tammy Newton. Morning, Tammy.
Good morning, everybody.
You can see her on the YouTube stream all around the world. Head over to our YouTube channel and watch the show this morning. Going to be a lot of fun. All right, sports. Last night we had a football game on the radio. It was the 6-0 Patriots taking the 3-3 Dolphins. Well, now the Patriots are 7-0 after a 36-7 rout of Miami. Man, Tom Brady looked good. 356 yards, 4 TDs, a pair of scoring strikes to Julian Edelman. Dolphins finished the game without 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Wake. Carted off the field with an Achilles tendon injury. Yikes, that's no good indeed. No. We've got high school football for you tonight. It is Shelton welcoming the Capital Cougars to town. Brandon Sparks and John McGlamry have the game at 6:45. It's going to be wet. We'll talk about the forecast in a second. Also coming up on KMAS, we've got WSU Cougar football for you Saturday. That's Halloween. The Stanford Cardinal comes to town. This can be a big game for the Cougs. Our pregame coverage starts at 5:30, and the kickoff will be at 7:30 Saturday night, Halloween. So in betwixt all the trick-or-treaters ringing the bell, you can have a chance to listen to the game here on KMAS. Sunday, we have the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Des Bryant apparently was back practicing yesterday, so he'll be probably on the field. Dallas Cowboys running back Joseph Randle is taking time away from the team to deal with an unspecified personal issue, and is already ruled out against the game against Seattle because he also has a back injury. Mm-hmm. Jason Garrett says that, well, we're not going to talk about why he's gone, but he isn't gone, and Randle is under investigation by the NFL for a possible violation of its personal conduct policy, a domestic dispute. He was not charged. What else happened here around the Northwest? Oh, man. Just read in the paper the River Ridge. What are they? The Wolf? No, Blackhawks? I don't know, whatever. The high school, River Ridge High School. The Hawks. 41, Stillicum 20. First time ever the Hawks go 9-0.
Oh, my gosh.
So good for them.
Awesome.
You know, other great teams around the Northwest got the Tumwater T-Birds ranked number 1 in 2A. And again, it's going to be a great night tonight for Shelton with playoff implications. They welcome the Capital Cougars, but I fear that it could be a mud bowl going on. Let's find out what the forecast is. Here's Tammy.
Going to be a little bit of a slog. Goodness. So this morning, we have already tested it out, Jeff and I. It is wet out there and lots of water on the road. A little bit of rain. In fact, we're supposed to get about 1.5 inches today. And bad news is, it looks like we've got rain all through the weekend. Good news is, it looks like we're going to be partly cloudy or partly sunny, depending on how you look at it, starting on Tuesday. So right now, we're looking at about 54 degrees. Rain out there. The web says rain mist, but I'm going to tell you, we checked it out. It's rain. All right, 54 degrees.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the shores of Hood Canal, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's the 30th of October, the day before Halloween. It's a Friday. It's a Blue Friday. It's Black and Red Friday for you high climber fans. And we do encourage everyone to be able to head out to the stadium, show that big support. Senior night for the high climbers tonight as well. So as I mentioned, Tammy Newton's in studio with me all day today.
Yes, I am.
Now, you were listening yesterday. You says, "Oh my gosh, we got to throw Jeff a lifeline."
Oh my gosh.
He's all by himself, that poor kid. I'll have to do something about that, right? So now you're here.
That's right. I don't know if this is a lifeline. It's maybe more of a distraction.
This is a lot of fun for you, and I know that you're very excited about this and been Facebooking and tweeting or whatever all week long.
Right.
For coming in, and this may be the best, most popular show Dale and I have ever done.
Well, you're at least getting some new listeners from Idaho and Oregon.
Well, good morning.
And with any luck, maybe Indonesia, a few other, I'm hoping a few of my international friends are listening in, just so we can say that, we are international.
We've gone global.
Right. That's exactly.
So Indonesia, is it tomorrow? Is it yesterday?
Oh, goodness. I didn't check the
last
timeline.
night.
I'd have to Google that. Yeah, I know in Ukraine, it's dinner time, I think.
Well, what a wonderful opportunity to sit around the dinner table.
Right.
And hang out with us this morning.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't want to?
All right. We got a great guest lineup today. Of course, Tammy's in here all morning, so we'll be talking about some issues that are near and dear to her heart. Also, in the 8 o'clock hour, Dr. Alex Apostle scheduled to come in and talk about some things, including their community gathering that they had the other night, to talk about some things with the police department and stuff like that. Mentioned that Shelton football is on tonight. Now, after the high school football game tonight, what'll probably get done about 9:30 or 10. It is the very special Art Bell Halloween episode.
Ooh.
Most of his shows feel Halloween-ish.
Yeah.
But he's been working on this one for a while, getting callers and listeners to send in their ghost stories.
Awesome.
So Art Bell, also, he's live from 9 to midnight, and then we replay him until 3, because nothing better than Art Bell in the middle of the night.
Love Art Bell.
I love him too. He's been a lot of fun. So that's what's going on there. We check the NFL now in a little bit, also living the country life. And then when we wrap up the show today, Don Pinnell will stop by for some riveting radio real estate. Yeah, it's a good program. 6:17, Tammy. So here are some news stories from around the Northwest. Supporters have turned in about 247,000 petition signatures to put a measure on the 2016 Washington state ballot to establish a carbon tax. Under the proposal, revenue from the carbon tax would be used to cut the state's sales tax by a point, eliminate business taxes for manufacturers, and provide a rebate to low-income families. So this is kind of a little different because the governor, Jay Inslee, he was working on this by himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
To go through the legislature, and kind of scoffed at didn't go through this year, as we know.
Yeah.
So now they're going to do it through the voter initiative process.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's also great. I mean, they're looking. The big concern with what had been going on with Governor Inslee's initiative was that everyone was looking at it as a +1, right? It was more tax. So they're addressing that in what they're trying to put through from the voter side, and I think that's pretty exciting. So
this is also kind of similar in a sense to a current initiative that people are voting on today and through this election. Initiative 1135 is the one where they will say, all right, legislature, we are going to drop the sales tax, so you're going to be getting less revenue unless you put in a vote to the people to make a constitutional amendment for these 2/3 majority votes to go through.
Right.
Now, what we were trying to figure out, Dale and I, the other day is, so let's say this passes,
and
the sales tax goes down, and then they put it on the initiative. The voters still could not pass that constitutional amendment. I mean, so kind of that's a wash in a sense, but we'll see what happens. It's a Tim Eyman initiative that he's been pushing through, and he also has been in the news a little bit lately as well.
Yeah, he has.
619 Bremerton High School. We've been talking about this one too. The assistant football coach, Joe Kennedy, says he's going to go to the game tonight, but he's on administrative leave for refusing to stop leading on-field prayers. Now, he was put on administrative leave. He's been doing this for a long time, and students and coaches from the opposing team, even fans in the stands, would come out and pray with him before and after the games. Well, the school district didn't really know what to do with this, and I told Dale, that's like, well, they can't really do anything. They're going to get they're just going to get killed over the coals on this one. So what happened, And I think what has caused Bremerton to put him on leave is that a Seattle Satanist group says, well, shoot, if this guy gets to do that, then we want to go out there and do a satanic invocation because, you know, you have to allow equal access. There's you know, separations here. And the school district, and I'm assuming this, but the school district said, no, we're not going to do that.
This is why we can't have nice things, Jeff.
This is why we can't have nice things. Exactly, Tammy. All right, we'll be right back after this first break on Daybreak with Jeff and Tammy.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
I'm Dan Helly with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Tom Brady led a full-scale destruction of the Dolphins in a 36-7 win in Foxborough on Thursday Night Football. Despite a makeshift offensive line and an effective Miami pass rush, Brady carved up the Dolphins for 356 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Cowboys aren't ready to say yet if Des Bryant will play against the Seahawks, but it looks like he's trending in that direction. Took a handful of 11-on-11 snaps for the first time since he broke his foot in Week 1. And told reporters afterward he had a great day of practice. Jason Pierre-Paul also taking steps towards a return. Probably won't play on Sunday, isn't even actually on the Giants' active roster, but he did go through individual drills today for the first time since he lost a finger in a fireworks accident. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
When you buy Napa's 5-gallon 90th anniversary bucket for $2.99, almost anything you can stuff in it is 20% off. Like shop towels, grease guns, buffing pads, spark plugs, tire brush, ice scrapers, and glass cleaner. That's a bucket load of stuff. So pick up a Napa bucket for $2.99 today and start saving 20% on anything you can fit inside. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, minimum 3 items. Some exclusions apply. Offer good while supplies last.
I have to get to sleep.
Tom had a stressful day, and now he can't shut down at bedtime.
Need sleep.
To fall asleep fast, millions of people turn to Unisom sleep gels. They're non-habit forming and quickly help you sleep soundly so you wake recharged. Tom? Unisom sleep gels. A stressful day deserves a restful night. Use as directed. Active ingredient diphenhydramine hydrochloride.
Hi, this is Tom Hartman, host of the Tom Hartman Program. Join me 9 to noon on News Radio 1030 KMAS. Black Mayor, Black Chief of Police. I would say the thing that is missing is a black middle class who actually have good manufacturing jobs in the area, which just doesn't exist because of our insane trade policies. We have run up this multi-trillion-dollar trade deficit. We buy all this junk from low-wage countries. They end up with our dollars. They don't want to buy anything we make, so they come over here and they buy our buildings and whatnot. You can't have a middle class if you don't have manufacturing.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County invites you to shop their local retail stores in Belfair and in Shelton. At Habitat for Humanity stores, you'll find amazing bargains on discounted home improvement supplies, gently used furniture, and so much more. And when you shop Habitat for Humanity, your dollars are put to work helping to improve, build, and maintain affordable housing right here in Mason County. Habitat for Humanity. Let's build a strong community together.
Hi, I'm Marlo Brown, the new owner of Vanderwall's Garage. We want to get your car ready for the season's weather. Rain and snow can do a number on your vehicle. We know it needs to be reliable for whatever life throws your way. We do tire replacements to brake installation, oil changes, and more. Vanderwalls is your one-stop shop for the repairs your vehicle needs to keep on going. Call us today at 426-8208 and get $20 off your next service. Thank you.
Shelton, you make us smile. Delta Dental of Washington will be in town November 2nd through 4th, and Mason County, we want to hear from you. Tell us today, who makes you smile, and those who may need a smile boost. Delta Dental will be in town promoting random acts of smile power. Email your nominations today to smilepower@deltadentalwa.com. Delta Dental, celebrating the power of smiles in Shelton and across Washington.
Hi, this is John Dobson from the Port of Shelton, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS Radio.
All right, good morning to you. It's 6:24 here at KMAS. Jeff and Tammy Newton's in studio this morning.
Being the best.
You're still here.
I am.
You made it through the first
coffee.
break, and you weren't like, I'm done.
It's wet out there. Like my dog. I'm not going back out there.
My dogs, too, did not go on their walks this morning. If you can hear the rain, when I hear the rain when I woke up, and I knew they're not going outside.
It's going to be serious negotiation.
So we'll have to probably clean the garage when I get home.
Right.
What's going on here? All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here with Jeff and Dale. Tammy's sitting in here, and we wish you a good Friday morning. We've got Halloween tomorrow, so of course we got to talk about some scary things, scary stories, haunted places. First, though, let's get to the brass tacks of this. Candy. What's your favorite candy? Not necessarily for Halloween, because it could change throughout the rest of the year, you know? A lot of people don't eat the same styles of candies. What do you like normally? And then does it change as we get to Halloween?
Doesn't change. I love a caramello, but see, I love coffee. So I love caramello and coffee together. That is heaven.
Caramello?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. Tammy did more prep for this show this morning than I have done in the last 3 months. And she has got a great list of the most popular candy in each state.
Yeah.
You were a little surprised by what it is here in the great state of Washington.
I was, and I have never had this candy, an Airhead. So Jeff was having to explain to me what Airheads are.
Yeah, it's basically just sugar. So much like every candy. However, think about it this way. Airheads, they look like tongues, so they're flat and long, and there's even a little line down the middle.
You already.
And if you were to take one of those 2-foot long pixie sticks that's full of sugar.
Oh my gosh.
And you were to somehow melt it down into a bar, that's, I think, basically what an Airhead is.
So I'm going to have to buy these.
They're great.
Later today.
No, they're great. And they've got great flavors. And I will say the flavors that they come up with for Airheads actually taste like the stuff they claim. And they have pretty good flavor. The watermelon one.
Well, red is usually a good flavor in the candy world.
Yeah, red and then purple drink is always a good one.
Right.
Some of the other.
Exactly.
So I like Airheads, but that would not have been my choice. That's an interesting one.
Isn't
we
it?
share that similarity with our good friends to the south, Alabama. So us and Alabama have something in common this morning, both liking Airheads.
Yeah. So, and I was born in Oregon. Are you Washingtonian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So candy corn, which I know what that is, but not a big fan.
You don't like candy corn?
No, not a big fan of that.
One of the worst, I think, candies for you is candy corn. Now, candy corn, they make it a lot of different ways nowadays.
Really?
It traditionally looked like a triangle, and it's got 3 colors.
Right.
But that style of taste now comes in pumpkin, the little pumpkins.
Really?
They've got all sorts of candy.
So it tastes the same and looks different, or does it try and taste more like what it looks like?
I think it still just tastes like circus peanuts. What were you going to say?
Sugar. Sugar. Colored sugar.
Yeah. Candy corn, that's a tough one. The problem with candy corn often is they are not individually wrapped. So you can't give them to kids.
No, you can't.
So we end up
They're
eating
probably
them.
a choking hazard.
I would say so. I told Stephanie that, we should have had Halloween a week ago because these poor kids are going to get the worst candy ever.
Oh, my gosh.
So all they're going to be stuck with from us are hot tamales and
those I like.
Regular M&Ms.
Somebody at the office was saying they were going to give out toothbrushes. And I said, are you just giving out toothbrushes? And are you looking forward to cleaning up the toilet paper?
Yeah.
Or are you
it's going to rain, an inch and a half tomorrow?
Yeah.
And if you're giving out toothbrushes, you're going to need that extra hour when we fall back on Sunday to clean up all the
cleanup time.
Clean up all the tricks.
Yes. So, and then I grew up in Idaho, and Idaho has a good one. They've got Butterfinger.
Yeah, I like Butterfinger.
I like
too.
Butterfinger.
Those are tasty.
Yeah, peanut butter is any type of peanut butter or caramel with the chocolate, and I'm good.
Bar none for me. Anything with a gummy taste to it.
Yeah?
Gummy bears.
Swedish fish.
Swedish fish. I've been eating a lot of those this week. The mini Haribo is the best for me gummy bear company. They're from Germany.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, a lot of people don't even know that. Haribo sounds more Japanese, I suppose, but it's a German company.
You know, Haribo, their Amazon reviews are pretty famous for their sugar-free version.
Why would you get sugar-free Haribo?
Well, and after one bag, I guess you don't.
Oh, I see. It's kind of like those Lay's chips. With Olestra, is that what it was?
Yeah, I don't know what their sweetener is, but apparently it's
not good.
That's right to you.
All right, thank you, Tammy, for that, and hope your breakfast is going well as well.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton is going to study 25 sites for pollution and seek federal funding to clean them if necessary. Shelton City Commissioners Mike Olson and Tracy Moore voted in favor of the study this week. Mayor Gary Krantz opposed the decision, saying he feared a negative impact on future business development. The city staff is authorized to seek a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency through their Brownfields program, which provides money and technical assistance to assess sites, clean them if needed, and help sustainably reuse them. The action was requested by City of Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines. His proposal authorizes the mayor to sign a contract with Bellevue-based Stantec Consulting Services to work on applying to be a part of the EPA Brownfields process. According to Goines, the hazardous waste site assessments and possible future cleanup work could be a catalyst in the redevelopment of commercial and industrial properties in Shelton. The bear cub found wandering around a power substation in Mason County last week is one of 3 cubs that have been taken to Idaho Black Bear Rehab near Boise. Mason County PUD spokesman Joel Meyer said somehow the cub, whom he named Sparky and was estimated to be about 40 pounds, scaled the substation fence and wandered among high voltage equipment, including circuit breakers. Fish and Wildlife officials used donuts to lure the cub into a trap. IBBR will fatten up the cubs, recover their health, and move them into a normal hibernating period. Jerry Apple, the teacher leader of SADD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, along with student Rachel, stopped by Daybreak to talk about the purpose of Red Ribbon Week.
So Red Ribbon Week is where we're celebrating basically people who aren't texting and driving and spreading the awareness not to text and drive and to buckle up, and explaining our club to people and what we do to spread awareness.
Rachel is correct in that this week we have been emphasizing the students to sign a pledge banner, and the pledge banner was provided to us by State Farm, and we've been handing out thumb rings to encourage the students not to text. And we gave out a lot of thumb rings this week. The red ribbon also means that we want you to be drug-free.
During the Shelton High Climber football game, they'll have a table set up for students to pledge against texting and driving. Everyone who takes the pledge will be registered to win a gift certificate. It'll be given away with a drawing in between the 3rd and 4th quarter. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Snow melts. Rain falls. Rivers form. This happens all over the world, but when it happens here, something wonderful unfolds. A renewable source of energy, created without releasing even an ounce of CO2 into the Earth's atmosphere.
Mason PUD 3, clean, renewable, and reliable energy every day.
This is Men's Health Live from Men's Health Magazine.
Tell us a little bit about this whole girl next door thing in Men's Health.
I think guys are sometimes, as well-intentioned as they are, they get kind of confused because women are complicated creatures, and I just try to do a little explaining.
Men's Health Live, the radio show that's full of tons of useful stuff from the biggest and best-selling men's lifestyle magazine in the world, Men's Health.
All right, good morning to you. 6:34 at KMAS Daybreak. Jeff and Dale, but Tammy Newton's in studio this morning.
Good morning, being the best Dale I can be.
Well, you're doing a great job so far. Half hour in.
All right.
Last night we had a game on KMAS NFL football. We feature the NFL primetime games here. That means Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football. The Patriots were taking on the Dolphins of Miami. Patriots were 6-0 going into the game. Miami was 3-3. Miami now 3-4. It was a 36-7 rout of that team with the Dolphins. They finished the game without four-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Wake. He had an Achilles tendon injury. So that was on the game last night. Tonight, we've got high school football for you. It's going to be wet. We'll give you the forecast in just a second. Saturday from the Palouse. I'll see what the forecast is over there in Pullman for the Cougar game. Now, it's going to be a big game. The Stanford Cardinals coming to town, and I believe the Cougars are in second in the Pac-12 North behind Stanford, and if they somehow can beat the Cardinal tonight, they'll be tied for the lead in the Pac-12 North, but then have that tiebreaker against Stanford, so that would actually be pretty good. Tomorrow night, it is going to be raining if you're heading over to the Palouse. Not as much as it will be raining here all weekend long, but it'll be a great game. 5:30 is the pregame, and then 7:30 the kickoff for the Cougars and the Stanford Cardinal. Sunday, Seahawks Sunday. 11 o'clock pregame as they're in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. And then Sunday night football. Wow, this is going to be a big game. The 6-0 Denver Broncos welcome the 6-0 Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
So somebody's going to come away with this as their first loss of the season. And I'm not even sure. I mean, you kind of want to root for Denver because they're the home team. But Green Bay, I mean, they're so good. And Peyton really hasn't been doing much. Man, it's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a good game.
Even if you don't like football, what we were talking about the other day, the parity in the NFL, just the kind of equalness that all the teams have really makes for exciting games as the games kind of wear on. 1 point, 3 points really can make a difference. So that's what's going on in the sports schedule. Mentioned high school football tonight, 6:45 the pregame, 7 o'clock the kickoff. It is Shelton welcoming Capital, and the Cougars, they come to town, and it's going to be wet. Tammy, what's the forecast?
Oh my goodness, it is going to be very wet out there. In fact, I was thinking this is when you want to be doing weather on the radio and not on the actual, television, because then you have to stand out there in the
blustery,
rain, which is crazy because you can look out the window and see the same thing. But we are looking at 1.5 inches of rain today on Friday, the 30th. Tomorrow for Halloween, we're looking at almost another 1.5 inches, y'all. And then on Sunday, not quite 0.5 inch. So we've got lots of rain over the weekend. Right now, it is 54 degrees. The good news is we are looking at on Tuesday, some sunshine. It says partly cloudy. I choose partly sunny. Glasses half full. But either way, we got some sunshine coming back. So rain, and a little more rain on Monday. And right now, feels about like 54 degrees.
Very nice.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the gateway to the Olympic Mountains, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here at 6:38. We'll live the country life in about 7 minutes on KMAS. Right at the end of this hour, we will head out to Wall Street to find out a report from the CNBC Business Radio report. Still some fallout from the CNBC crew after the debate. And I was talking yesterday a little bit about it on the radio. And, the questions were, some of the questions were pretty inappropriate, I say. And some of the questions, though, were appropriate, didn't get answered, whatever. That's kind of how it is.
Yeah. It started that way. I mean, the first question I was not a fan of. And, right out the gate, bad question and answers that didn't relate to the question that was asked.
Right. They didn't answer. And what is your greatest weakness, right? That was the big first question. And as I mentioned yesterday, it puts people on the defensive away. That's why they leave that to the end of a regular interview.
Yeah.
So, we got to tell us why you're a great worker. Blah, blah, blah. Well, we've gone down to the last question. And what's your, it's the last question.
Yeah.
So you end on so you're not thinking about that the whole rest of the time. So whatever that. They have
an odd one.
Democrat debate. Now, I'm having a hard time seeing if we're going to have it on the radio because it is in South Carolina, MSNBC, moderated by Rachel Maddow.
Okay.
And I think James Clyburn's going to be kind of another person. He's a House of Representatives guy. Because they call it a forum,
right?
I don't know if we're going to have it on the radio. I'm going to do some looking tonight and into tomorrow, but we'll see about that. But we will have as many as we have.
I hope you do, because I cut the cable cord. I forget who was talking about that the other day. And so I am so glad you guys are carrying the debates, because that's how I'm listening to them.
Yeah, it really. We've gotten calls and messages from all up and down the coast, actually, people looking for ways to hear it, and we have it for you. Here. We got folks listening all over the place. My dad's in Fort Lauderdale this morning.
Awesome.
He's tuning in, and you say you got people in the Ukraine.
Maybe. Indonesia?
Maybe. Who knows? If they have access to the Daybreak on YouTube, pretty cool stuff. All right, 6:40. Tammy Newton's in. What have you been up to lately? We know that you have been with Habitat for a long time, and you dabbled in politics, and now you're back with what are you doing these days?
Dabbling in radio. I am. I know. Well, I've called myself the Gladys Kravitz of housing, really. So I've been a housing commissioner for a while, and I've been the executive director of Habitat for Humanity of Mason County. But I just recently took a position with the Public Health and Human Services Department as the homeless and affordable housing coordinator. And I'm very excited about that position. So going to be transitioning out in November. We've got a great new executive director starting on Monday. His name is Martin Crow, and he's a local guy and Shelton graduate and has a great background, a strong background in operations. And so we're excited to see where he advances the ball, with the organization, and where he takes us as we, continue to look at how we can serve as an affiliate up there for Habitat, see how we can serve the county.
So let's talk about this Habitat.
Yeah.
One of your major ways to get funding is the stores.
Right.
There's one here in town. There's one in Belfair. They're all over the place.
Yes.
With the Mason County one. So I've been in and bought things from
Me
there. Good. I hope you use your own products. What I'm wondering is, how does the donation process work? How much of that actually stays here?
Yeah.
Things like that.
It pretty much all stays here, right? Because other than we have to pay our taxes, and of course we, have to buy things like everyone else to run an organization, run a business. But the stores are the primary fundraiser for the organization, and they are the primary way in which we build homes, in addition to individual contributions and bequests and general fundraising and even grants. So we get some great grants from folks like the Community Foundation of South Puget Sound and United Way. But the stores really are the bread and butter, and we're unique in that way because we are self-funded as an organization, and so we have a great amount of stability. So those donations that come in, they are processed in-house. They stay in-house. Belfair and Shelton, both those stores actually provide service for Mason County as a whole and allow us to build all over the county and help us to pay operations and all that good stuff. So it's an amazing model for how the organization works.
So if you donate a chair to the Shelton store, you're likely to see that chair in the Shelton store the next day?
Yeah, the only time that changes is sometimes when we do pickups. If we know that we just picked up 5 desks for Shelton and we just picked up 3 more, we'll probably take those to the Belfair store and try and equal out our inventory a little bit. But yeah, otherwise, that's where you'll see it. Not for long. I'm always amazed. That truck will be out and they'll go do 5 pickups and everything will hit the floor and there's room. So you've had about 5 loads go out the door because you've had 5 come in and it doesn't look all smushed in there.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
There's a lot of good quality there. I remember, what did we had just purchased? We either had just purchased our new oven or our new washer and dryer. And then a week or so later, I went into the Habitat store here in town and they had the exact same washer. Maybe it was a washer. And it was a brand new, and it was a good-looking unit, way cheaper than what I paid for.
Yeah.
but it still had the stickers and stuff on it.
Yeah, some of them were still in the crates. It's amazing.
Wow.
And, we got just Aberdeen has a hotel that's closing down.
Mhm.
And so the folks in Grays Harbor, they called us and said, we can't take and process all the donations from the hotel. So we've got a bunch of like little writing desks up there now, some great chairs that are nice, which are some great things like that. So both of our stores are getting some, Grays Harbor is, and even Kitsap is sending a truck down. And each of those stores actually are fundraising for the habitats and for their communities. And so we also do share. So
That's great.
So we got some great stuff that came in.
It's a fun organization. It's been around a long time. It really got pushed to the forefront when the President Carter got involved heavily with Habitat for Humanity. He's taken ill as of late, but he still gets out there and swings that hammer.
He does. He's our most famous volunteer.
And that is pretty impressive that he still does that. 6:45. Here at KMAS, KMAS.com. We'll live the country life in just a second here on KMAS. After that, we'll head out to Wall Street to find out what's going on with CNBC and some business radio reports. Did you know that there is a haunted shoe store? Actually, it's not a shoe store so much as it's like the shoe section of a Fred Meyer in Auburn.
Of a Fred Meyer.
But we have got some great... We were just talking about Grays Harbor, Aberdeen, Billy's Bar and Grill. Some spooky stuff happening out there, too. So we'll talk about some scary, haunted locations around the state. It is the day before Halloween. It's a Friday. We're having fun. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Halloween wasn't invented by costume shops, candy makers, and little monsters craving a sugar buzz. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Stay tuned and learn the origins of Halloween as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
If your chicken coop is nicer than your garage, then you may have a passion for poultry. We are looking for some innovative, creative coops just like yours. Enter our Creative Coop Photo Contest brought to you by Cargill Neutrina Today. 3 lucky coop owners will each receive free Cargill Neutrina Nature-Wise all-flock feed. There are many ways to enter. You can enter up to 5 photos online at livingthecountrylife.com/Creative Coop Contest or hashtag your Coop Photo Creative Coop Contest on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or find us on our Facebook page at Living the Country Life. View our website to browse entries and get ideas for your own poultry palace at livingthecountrylife.com/Creative Coop Contest. No purchase necessary. Contest ends at 8:59 p.m. Central Time on December 31st, 2015. Subject to official rules at livingthecountrylife.com/Creative Coop. Void where prohibited. Sponsor Meredith Corporation. Enter your coop photos today at livingthecountrylife.com/Creative Coop Contest.
Pumpkins, ghosts, and treats are part of our Halloween tradition, which long ago was a seriously scary time of year. Jan Bryn is an extension educator at Michigan State University and has researched the origins and legends of Halloween. She says it goes back 2,000 years to the Samhain, which was a Gaelic festival marking the end of the harvest season and the beginning of the darker season.
The Samhain Druids believed that the dead played tricks to cause panic and destruction, so they gave food to appease them, and the Celtic farmers believed one day a year, the season of life met the season of death, when the spirits could rise from the grave and walk among the living. The Druid priests would try to foretell the village's survival of winter with bonfires, and they disguised themselves to repel and confuse those spirits.
In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III established this day as All Hallows Eve, the day before All Saints' Day. Bryn says Irish children carved out turnips and lit them to commemorate Jack, an Irish villain who played tricks on the devil. Jack was rejected by both the devil and heaven, wandered the earth, and was warmed by the candle in the turnip.
He pleaded with the devil to help him to find his way, and the devil gave him a live coal to light his way by putting it in one of those turnips that he was eating. So ever since, Jack's been doomed to wander the darkness with his lantern until Judgment Day, and there we get Jack of the Lantern.
In the 1930s, Bryn says Halloween pranks became vandalism. Merchants discovered if they gave the hoodlums candy, they wouldn't be so destructive. Learn more about Halloween traditions at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
iFiber Communications, the fastest internet provider in Washington State, has just opened their doors here in Mason County and got their first local customers signed up. James, tell me about your experience.
From the first time I learned of iFiber to the day I got hooked up, even now, I felt that my fiber connection and the service given to me have been the number one most important job to every member of the iFiber team. And not just because I was first in line with my nose pressed up to the glass waiting for a company to take my money.
What differences have you noticed?
I get what I pay for. With non-fiber solutions, you're paying up to the top and never get a constant number anywhere near that top. With fiber, you certainly do. With iFiber, you get it at a competitive and affordable price.
Why should others sign up for iFiber Internet?
Well, iFiber has made a commitment to Mason County. They're working hard to bring fast speeds to everyone at an affordable price. And now with phones and television, your bill will be all in one place with no hidden fees or sudden price changes to surprise you month to month like other all-in-one service providers.
Get signed up for iFiber Communications today by calling 360-427-4000 or visit ifiber.tv for more information.
Hi, this is Darren Streblow. Check out my comedy show this Saturday night at 9. But for now, let's get back to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
All right, good morning to you. 6:52 here at KMAS and online KMAS.com this morning. Want to welcome all of our friends in the northern part of Mason County. This week, Dale and Kat went up there to go hang out with the North Mason Chamber of Commerce. They were having a luncheon or something like that.
Yeah.
And so they went up there to say, hey, we're on 103.3 and we are sounding good. And we are happy to kind of bridge that invisible gap between the North County and the South. I mean, it's all Mason County. And we're going to do our part as best we can to kind of blur the lines, get rid of the lines.
The signal's great up there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, even it all the way up through Belfair. I know. So Allen, Belfair, it's been great.
So you can listen from Belfair over Gig Harbor and the bridge to Tacoma South, or from Bremerton all the way into Olympia.
Look at you guys.
I will say, though, Tumwater folks, better signal in most parts of Tumwater just on our AM. And that's AM 1030. All right, we were talking about some scary things that were happening, some spooky stories with hauntings and Halloween coming up tomorrow. Aberdeen, Billy's Bar and Grill. Do you know where that is? Have you ever been there?
I haven't been there.
So this building is 2 floors, and the first one has the restaurant, and the second apparently used to contain a brothel. And some of the ladies and a very infamous ghost named Billy may haunt the place. Some lights go off and on at night, cold spots, fog on some mirrors have been reported. These are very spooky stories. Now, before we go any further, have you ever had a situation where maybe paranormal was happening?
Wow. Okay. So, this opens you up because this is, admitting this. Everybody's here like, I'll listen to this.
You're going to run again. All your opponents are going to be recording. Push the record button.
Exactly. Oh, goodness. But, it was a good thing. I was driving back from the other side of the mountains, and it was really late at night. And my grandfather had passed, and he was like a father to me. And so I got home, and the house had this very just unique odor that wasn't normal to me, and or like my house normally smells, and it took me a moment. And this is going to sound terrible, but my grandfather, it was like bacon every morning, and he had the percolator coffee pot, and so it was sort of this combination. And as I walked in the house, and I thought, what's wrong? Why is this, odor, if you will? And then I realized, oh, well, hello, and then it was gone.
Really?
Yeah. And that was the only, and it was not
Wow.
long. So you can say that was just me being a little crazy after the loss of my grandfather. Or I don't know, maybe, it's hard because you have energy, right?
Yeah.
We're all electrical energy and look into how it just transfers. And yeah. So how about you?
Nothing like that. I can't think of any strange happenings like that. Every so often you'll get chills or tingles up your spine or something like that. And I know when you get a chill, somebody supposedly is walking over your grave. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
No, I haven't heard that. I'm not in it yet.
Yeah, well, I know. And that's the strange thing about it. But I don't think I've ever experienced that in any sense, or any lights that would come on or come off, or any shoes that are flown and hit me in the head, like in Auburn, apparently. You found this story. Tell me about this Auburn deal.
Yeah, so it's the shoe department. And so apparently, and look, my theory on this is that there's a spirit in Auburn, Fred Meyer, that's had it with the wool socks and Birkenstocks, because the stock room, which is apparently connected to the shoe department, I guess shoes are thrown at people, employees, and customers. And they say frequently. So I don't know what frequently, but there's got to be video of that, right? Because
you would hope
stores would have. So we've got to look. We have to do more research on that.
That's an interesting one.
It says no one has seen an apparition, and some events are too weird to be coincidental.
Well,
so the Fred Meyer in Auburn. If you're a ghost hunter,
stop on by.
Stop on by. But did you see there is a story from Skokomish?
No, tell me this one.
Oh, I have to. Yeah. So this is I was looking for something that was closer to home, right? So that was kind of exciting to see that. So the Skokomish, well, that's Skokomish and not Skokomish. See, I just did that. But anyways, the home of the Blue Lady. And the story goes that on the very top floor of this place, it used to be a speakeasy. And, there still are speakeasies in Seattle, which I love, where the ladies of the night entertained and gambling went on. So apparently there was a death in the hotel, and they don't really talk about what kind of haunting goes on. They just talk about how it was a bad story.
Isn't that scary? This is some just weird stuff.
I know.
I don't know what is worse, what style of paranormal or scary story. We were talking before we started this morning about scary movies, and one of the scariest movies that has happened to me, I have ever seen, was the Blair Witch Project. Now, a lot of folks, and I think you said you were included, get motion sick.
I got motion sick, and I don't get motion sick. And that movie,
it did that for you?
Yeah.
The black and white aspect of the movie just was really eerie for me for whatever reason. And then the whole marketing campaign, that was kind of as social media, internet really started going. They says, well, are these people really around? And nobody knew. And well, finally one of them popped up on Conan or something like that.
I remember that.
You're listening to Daybreak with
it is 7 o'clock
on KMAS News Radio.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks are mixed. The Dow's down 8 points, the Nasdaq higher by 3. New data out this morning suggesting some cooling in spending after recent big increases. The Commerce Department says personal income and spending both rose just 0.1% in September. Starbucks reporting quarterly earnings that matched estimates. Sales and revenue both beat Wall Street forecasts, but traders are disappointed by the company's profit forecast for the current quarter, as well as its China results. Shares are up nearly 1%. Shares of LinkedIn soaring this morning, up nearly 11%. That's after results beat expectations and reversed a loss from a year ago. A big recall at Fiat Chrysler. The automaker is calling back 890,000 Jeep, Dodge, and Fiat SUVs for problems with its anti-lock brakes and airbags. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.
At TIAA CREF, our record sounds like a broken record. We got impressive results in 2013. And 2014, same thing. We're like, hey, weren't we just here? Then 2015, boom, more impressive results. That's the kind of record you'd expect from a company that's created to serve and built to perform. Intelligent investing, powerful results. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA CREF Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. Investing involves risk.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
Mornings start with Daybreak on KMAS Shelton. Join Jeff and Dale weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030, FM 103.3, and KMAS.com.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. President Obama is applauding Congress for passing a budget agreement. ABC's Bazi Kanani has details.
The motion to concur is agreed to.
Democrats partnered with Republican defense hawks to get enough votes to pass the budget bill. Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul stalled the vote with an hour-long speech calling the bill an unholy alliance.
The left gets more welfare. The right gets more military contracts.
The soon-to-be-signed measure ensures neither party will have to engage in a brutal budget battle until after the 2016 elections. Bazi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
Some passengers say all they saw was smoke when they jumped out the emergency chutes of a flaming jetliner on the tarmac in Fort Lauderdale.
When we go down the slide, I couldn't see anyone because we went from the left side, so all the smoke was on our side. I still smell like smoke.
The NTSB is looking into the cause. Jeb Bush says his campaign is not on life support.
I will campaign with my arms wide open, with a hopeful, optimistic message, not one that is trying to prey on people's fears.
But sources say privately he's working on a new campaign strategy. You're driving down the highway and the airbag suddenly inflates. It's happened to at least 7 drivers of Jeep Grand Cherokees and Liberties. Fiat Chrysler is recalling nearly 900,000 Jeep, Dodge, and Fiat SUVs for problems with airbags or anti-lock brakes. You're doing better, but still not great. Paychecks increased at a moderate rate of 0.6% in the third quarter, better than the 0.2% gain in the second quarter. But for the year, they're up only 2%, well below the 3.5% to 4% level of a healthy economy. Mets fans, take a chill pill. That advice from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. He says fans shouldn't give up on the team, even though they're down 2-0 in the World Series. Game 3 is tonight at Citi Field. This is ABC News.
Well, son, we did it. We opened our very own private storage IRA with the Gold Silver Group.
You mean the Gold and Silver IRA that you can store privately?
Yes. We called the Gold Silver Group, and they were great. They explained all our options. The Gold Silver Group has 3 simple steps that made it easy. They gave us the best prices, and now we have our IRA Gold and Silver in our hands. We even qualified for an extra $700 in free silver.
Okay, Dad, now you've got my attention.
You insure your house, the car, the kids, your health, and even a dog. Don't you think it's time to insure your wealth?
Call 800-943-0812. Learn how easy it is to set up your own private storage IRA and how to qualify for up to $700 in free silver. Protect your portfolio. Diversify with Gold and Silver. Have your Gold and Silver IRA privately delivered to your door, fully insured. For the best service and best prices, call Gold Silver Group. 800-943-0812. 800-943-0812.
Dallas police think they've thwarted a plot for a mass shooting in their city. ABC's Jim Ryan tells us their person of interest is just 12.
The 7th grader at Trinity Basin Preparatory Academy in Dallas is thought to have told a classmate at the charter school about his plan to shoot up the campus, even showing his friend a diagram.
A reasonable person would see this diagram and would believe that he intended to carry out his threats.
Assistant Dallas Police Chief Randall Blankenbaker says the preteen boy was arrested for exhibition of firearms, although it isn't clear that he even had access to a gun. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Alabama's reigning Teacher of the Year has resigned after being told she's not qualified to teach the 5th grade. She's been teaching grades 1 to 6 for 21 years. She started this year teaching 2nd graders, but was recently moved to a 5th grade classroom. That's when school officials decided her certifications qualify her for just grades 1 through 3. They say they're discussing it. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton is going to study 25 sites for pollution and seek federal funding to clean them if necessary. Shelton City Commissioners Mike Olson and Tracy Moore voted in favor of the study this week. Mayor Gary Krantz opposed the decision, saying he feared a negative impact on future business development. The city staff is authorized to seek a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency through their Brownfields program, which provides money and technical assistance to assess sites, clean them if needed, and help sustainably reuse them. The action was requested by City of Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines. His proposal authorizes the mayor to sign a contract with Bellevue-based Stantec Consulting Services to work on applying to be a part of the EPA Brownfields process. According to Goines, the hazardous waste site assessments and possible future cleanup work could be a catalyst in the redevelopment of commercial and industrial properties in Shelton. The bear cub found wandering around a power substation in Mason County last week is one of 3 cubs that have been taken to Idaho Black Bear Rehab near Boise. Mason County PUD spokesman Joel Meyer said somehow the cub, whom he named Sparky and was estimated to be about 40 pounds, scaled the substation fence and wandered among high voltage equipment, including circuit breakers. Fish and Wildlife officials used donuts to lure the cub into a trap. IBBR will fatten up the cubs, recover their health, and move them into a normal hibernating period. Jerry Apple, the teacher leader of SADD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, along with student Rachel, stopped by Daybreak to talk about the purpose of Red Ribbon Week.
So Red Ribbon Week is where we're celebrating basically people who aren't texting and driving and spreading the awareness not to text and drive and to buckle up, and explaining our club to people and what we do to spread awareness.
Rachel is correct in that this week we have been emphasizing the students to sign a pledge banner, and the pledge banner was provided to us by State Farm, and we've been handing out thumb rings to encourage the students not to text. And we gave out a lot of thumb rings this week. The red ribbon also means that we want you to be drug-free.
During the Shelton High Climber football game, they'll have a table set up for students to pledge against texting and driving. Everyone who takes the pledge will be registered to win a gift certificate. It'll be given away with a drawing in between the 3rd and 4th quarter. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
The Chad Benson Show.
But you can't attack Trump and not expect to get hammered. And where the Republicans are missing this is he is paving the way to victory if they would just listen. He's giving them a rule book on how to play the media and, most importantly, how to handle crisis.
The Chad Benson Show.
Hi, this is Chad Benson. Please check out my show this afternoon from 3 to 6 on KMAS News Radio.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports.
Tom waits on the shotgun snap. Brady takes the snap. He looks left. He throws for Edelman with the grab. Dives to the goal line. Touchdown, Patriots.
On WBZ-FM, the Patriots ripped Miami 36-7 in Foxborough. Tom Brady threw for 356 yards and 4 touchdowns.
The guys, I think, did a great job tonight on a short week. We put a lot into it. It was an intense 3 days of preparation, and
felt like we were really ready to go.
New England is 7-0. The Dolphins 3-4. Miami also lost four-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Wake, who was carted off with an Achilles tendon injury. The Texans say defensive end J.J. Watt expected to play against Tennessee on Sunday after dealing with a sore back. Fifth-ranked TCU improved to 8-0 on the season.
Hicks stays out there. They'll give it to Kyle Hicks. No, Boykin flipped it hard. Johnson scores again. Oh, my! Johnson for the score.
On the TCU Sports Network from IMG, the Horned Frogs crushed West Virginia 40-10. Trevon Boykin tossed 3 touchdowns. North Carolina dropped 23rd-ranked Pittsburgh 26-19. The Tar Heels are 7-1. NBA, you know the story. Over the summer, DeAndre Jordan was about to sign with Dallas, but had a change of heart and stayed with the Clippers. So last night, the Mavericks paid a visit to Los Angeles with owner Mark Cuban of the Mavericks in the front row, who said before the game when asked about Jordan, quote, "I don't even know who you're talking about." So over to the game.
Griffin down the lane. The lob inside to DJ. Slams it home. Blake held onto that ball for a couple of seconds and then threw it up there for DJ.
On KFWB, Jordan said it was an emotional game. Blake Griffin had 26 points. Clippers 104-88 over Dallas. Game 3 of the World Series tonight from Citi Field in New York. Royals lead the Mets 2-0. Mets skipper Terry Collins.
We're glad to be home. We've got our fan base behind us now, and there's a lot of confidence in the clubhouse.
Giordano Ventura faces Noah Syndergaard. On ice, Dallas beat Vancouver in overtime 4-3. Edmonton, a 4-3 winner over Montreal. St. Louis knocked off Anaheim 2-1. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
Wilson's going to take it around the far side of the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Seahawks!
The Seahawks face their second straight huge road game as the Dallas Cowboys throw out the welcome mat. Hi, this is Steve Rabel. Join Warren Moon and me this Sunday. Pregame at 11, kick at 1:25. Right here on the Seahawks Radio Network.
Touchdown, Seahawks! Marshawn Lynch says, "Get out of my way!"
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at KMAS 711. Do a quick check on sports, weather, and Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake sitting in. We'll talk with him in just a second. Last night we had the Patriots-Dolphins game on. Patriots won 36-7. They're now 7-0. Tonight we've got high school football for you. The Shelton High Climbers are welcoming the Capital Cougars to town. The pregame at 6:45, kickoff at 7, and there are playoff implications to this game, so it's going to be a big one. It's going to be wet. We'll tell you just how wet it is in just a second. Also Saturday, the Cougars will welcome the Stanford Cardinal to the Palouse for their game coming up, and it's a 5:30 pregame, 7:30 or so kickoff. And again, it's Halloween, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. A little bit of rain out there on the Palouse, but good stuff. And then Sunday afternoon, really at 11, we started our pregame show for the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Des Bryant likely to play. Joseph Randall, one of their running backs, is not going to be playing for the Cowboys. And then Sunday night football coming up. The 6-0 Denver Broncos welcome the 6-0 Green Bay Packers, and that is going to be a massive game. Wow, that is going to be a good one. Back to tonight, we've got high school football, and it's going to be pretty wet. Here's Tammy with the forecast.
So I think for Halloween, I'll go as the Morton Salt girl. I'll have the little, rain gear on, because it looks like we're going to get 1.5 inches of rain today, 1.5 inches of rain tomorrow. Sunday, going to ease up a little bit, and just a 1/2 inch of rain. I got to tell you, I don't know about you, I have a Labrador who loves to swim but hates sky water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, negotiations when it's raining out like today. But hey, good news is they say partly cloudy, I say partly sunny. Coming on Tuesday, we've got a little bit of sunshine. It's warming up out there right now, 58 degrees. I don't know about you, Jeff, but I'm hoping for a good freeze because I don't want any more mosquitoes next year. We need to get rid of these bugs.
I mean, looking at this forecast, we are still very mild.
So mild
temperatures.
Yeah, it's crazy. All the way out the 10-day forecast. And goodness, the lowest low we've got on there is 51 degrees, which is actually balmy in my mind.
Wow.
So right now, 58, feels like 58, and it's raining out there.
It's
Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the southernmost tide pool of Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. 7:13 here at KMAS. We're real happy to have in the studio. Well, first off, Tammy Newton's filling in for Dale today. Thank you for filling in.
Oh my gosh, having a great time. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm glad you are. And also, we are happy to welcome Thurston County Commissioner, who comes in here about once a month, Bud Blake. Good morning, Bud.
Hey,
good morning. Good to see you again.
It's great to be here with KMAS in Mason County.
And we are happy to have you, and we like talking with you as a lot of the issues that deal with Thurston County, and then you're part of Thurston County, which butts up right to Mason County.
Absolutely, 3rd District.
Lots of crossover there with some work you guys are doing, and Veterans Day is coming up.
It is, absolutely.
You are a veteran yourself.
I served 25 years in the Army.
Well, thank you for that.
About a year and a half ago.
And
wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, so very cool. And you've got a big honor coming up on the 11th, 11/11.
Yeah.
At the Capitol. Tell us about that.
Sure. In tradition, we host a Veterans Day remembrance of the veterans that are serving today, and still in uniform and still with us, as opposed to Memorial Day, where we honor those who have fallen. So at 11 o'clock, I am the keynote speaker at the Rotunda in Olympia at the Capitol, and I welcome everybody from any part of the south part of the county, and Mason County, Pierce County, what have you, Lewis County, to come and visit and honor those who have served or continuing to serve in our nation's great Army and military. Yeah,
that's a big honor. That's a great place to speak, and so it's in the main rotunda right there,
right in the main square. Yeah.
Oh man, that's going to sound great.
Yeah. It's personal triumph for me. I've been wanting to get there for many years, coming out of JBLM, to be able to recognize our military members, and so it's going to be great for me to get behind the podium and be able to give that tribute there.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on that, Bud. Well, let's talk about your time in the service. So 25 years. So that takes us to 1990.
Yeah.
So
1988.
1988 is when you got in there. So let's talk about where you went, what you saw. Were you engaged in? So through that time would have been the first kind of conflicts would have been Desert Storm, maybe?
Yeah, I missed that on Desert Storm. I asked to go, and they said, no, you got to go a different way. And so actually I was PCS, Permanent Change of Station, up here to Fort Lewis at that point in time.
Oh, okay.
So, then Bosnia kicked off, and I tried to get to that, but then they sent me to Korea. And so that was where a lot of fun started in terms of military operations, because on the DMZ, there's still a truce there between North Korea and South Korea.
Right.
And believe it or not, there's small arm fire and little conflicts that go on periodically. Shortly after that, I came back and went to Fort Bragg. And that's when 9/11 happened. And from there on, it was Iraq twice and Afghanistan twice and some Philippine stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So go back to Korea and the DMZ. Were you right there on the line and you could see is it just a wide open area between the two countries?
Yeah, it's a no man's land. So there's a wall on one side, and obviously a no man's land, and then a curtain actually on the other side. And then, as far as the eye can see, there's really just an open tundra. They don't really have a lot of, and then on the east side, it's so hilly that you really can't even see anything. There are a couple of small villages, obviously, with binoculars you can see, but not many people, especially from the North Korean side, wander around, or you can see, but you'll see the troops, obviously, but not inhabited like you would on the south side. You can see that without any problems there. So stark contrast between the two.
I bet.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow, that is amazing. And then you said twice in Iraq and twice in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
What were the theaters there? What types of cities that people are familiar of the names?
Oh yeah, Baghdad was my primary one first time, and then I was at the headquarters for the most part, doing a lot of program and directive of certain things like sniper defeat and what have you. And then the second time I went back for operations, meaning whatever task they give me, you go off and do it. But I was an intel officer, so I'm just trying to find out where the bad guy is or will be hiding, and let everybody know that. And once that's happened, you go on to the next mission. Afghanistan is totally different because of the asymmetrical aspect to it with Pakistan, Iran, and the northern part of, I'll say Russia, but just all the stans and how that all flows into building terrorist camps and how they formulated their plan to be able to get in there and get into that decision cycle before they're able to execute their mission. So
Afghanistan still's pretty desolate, right? I mean, it's still pretty barren.
Yeah,
throughout the whole country.
Yeah. And most people don't realize that it's what they term as a fourth world country, and they, I'd say, 7/8 of the population lives in mud houses.
Wow.
Throughout the entire country. Only in Kabul and Kandahar and maybe Mazar Sharif is a couple of A-frame structural buildings, and mostly Soviet-style building. And so, totally different way of life than what we're used to.
Wow,
here.
a fourth world country.
Wow. Yeah, we would consider it the wild west of, say, 1830s or something like that. That's how far back you got to go in our American history time to relate to it.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
What else is Thurston County doing and the commissioners doing to help out the veterans these days? I know we've talked a lot about Veterans Court and how that is getting underway there and starting to get some legs here in Mason County. But what are some other things that Thurston County does and can do for veterans?
You know, we do have a variety of things, and while it's not centralized, we don't have a one-stop, although we are thinking about building that so that you can go there and be able to say, hey, I need this or that, and then I'm looking for this. But there are a lot of nonprofits that help out, such as the Catholic Community Service. They have I know it's an acronym crazy, but they have a VHOG, a Veterans Housing Operation Group. And so on Mondays, they set time aside almost the whole day to take care of veterans and the specific needs that come along with the veterans. And then there's another nonprofit called Sidewalk. They have Fridays that they set aside. So let's go back to the Catholic VHOG. They're more, they have a shelter, no problem, but then they have temporary and supported housing, and so it's kind of a structured program there. And then whereas Sidewalk, where they're on the Fridays, they have what they call rapid rehousing. So if a veteran is in need of some housing, and oh, by the way, family members too, I don't mean just the actual person, they find it for a place, a quick rental, if you will, that'll get you 2 or 3 months, maybe 6 months, who knows what the actual time is, so that you can at least get do not go into the streets or railroads or whatever and have that place to go. So it's very temporary in nature, although it could transition into a more permanent or semi-permanent environment. So that, and then we have Vet to Ag. There's another little program that I'm very involved in. And so when veterans transition out of the military, it gives them a sense of therapy to be able to handle either marine, cultural, like shellfish or what have you, or crop or cattle. And so it's very therapeutic, and it gives them a sense of community, and then kind of pushes them into an employment role also. And whereas they can pick and choose if they want to go through the ag world, and it doesn't have to be actually growing. There's transportation. There's all kind of other things that come along with that. But it's definitely a inroad to be able to say transition from the military to the civilian or back to non-military life.
Right.
Then we also have the Veterans Center in Lacey. That's kind of still new, and they help you out with some of the services, disability paperwork, and finances and what have you that go with that. So that's important. And then just recently opened as it's the Business and Innovation Center off of 6th Avenue in Lacey. It's just right down the road from the Lacey Veterans Center. They have a vet component in there where it's specific to vets coming out of the military that match your some military occupation specialty at your job, and that way you can transition to there and say, okay, I'm a truck driver, but I don't want to do truck driving, but I want to do whatever, and then move through that, or I want to open up a new business. And it's very, very exciting to have that there. So we've kind of hit full circle of help in terms of housing, agriculture, and employment, and other type of employment. Helping you with your departure from the military, because it's not always easy. You're living in such a rigid, structured life in the military you're concentrated on a bad guy coming around the corner or a rocket coming on you. So when you come back home, you just it takes a little bit of time. It's been years for me, and there's just still certain things that you see just make you wonder. Not if you're back in the box, but you just kind of say, okay, I'm at home. I don't have to do this anymore. But at the same time, you just it's just some of the memories you carry with you.
Yeah.
And so it's a very exciting time here to be able to help veterans out.
So 6th Avenue in Lacey, that's just up the street from the City Hall, right next to, real close to the Intercity Transit bus station.
It is, exactly. Right.
So you can just walk right
so
down
you
the
got
way.
transportation to get there, yeah.
Has it been helpful for folks who were not in the service? You know, by all accounts, you've done pretty well for yourself outside of the service. You're Thurston County Commissioner, and you have a home and things like this, but there are so many folks that don't. And when we talk about Veterans Court and people who are get into the system, but may have a different background, like a veteran's background, are you finding that more and more people, not only in Thurston County, but maybe surrounding counties, are coming to you asking for, like, well, so Bud, you were part of this. Can you help us better understand maybe what these veterans are going through when they're back home, so we don't, all automatically throw them in the jail because they did something wrong? Or what can we do to help? Are you getting a lot of that?
Oh, absolutely. You get that in every corner or every circle of life. It really doesn't. And that's a huge change in our society, how we see that. You can back in the Vietnam veteran era, all the horror stories that came with that.
Mm-hmm.
You include the Korean era. And so we've learned that lesson as far as changing that mindset of accepting the fact that the military person that served and had to go off and do something usually not so good, in terms of kill, capture, or what have you. It's not always that baby killer kind of mentality that come home and then been accepted, and especially back into the smaller areas of the community, and they're not shunned or ostracized. And that's a huge transition from the era of just 20 years ago. So we've come a long ways in that, and it's really remarkable to feel that. And so if we didn't have that, oh my God, you can imagine what the split in our society would be. So
well, we saw
we're
it.
very grateful for that.
I wasn't around, but I've done enough reading about the history of this, and the country really was divided. It was amazing how celebrated the troops were coming home from World War II, World War I, World War II, and then we move on at maybe a little less when Korea came, and then much less when Vietnam era was around.
Right.
And it is good to see that.
And I'll say soldiers because I'm an Army guy, but all we want to do is protect the Constitution and the 27 amendments with that, and then wherever we are on the ground is give a little hope to the indigenous environment there, be it a clinic or a school or a water pump, and a touch of freedom, not pushing it on them, but allow them to be able to do things in life that humans should be able to do, and then come back home and then pick the game up and continue on. So but I would tell veterans, it doesn't stop there. Just because you are not in a uniform anymore, we still need that leadership in schools. Kids especially need you to be there, to be a great role model and be there to show them right from wrong, because kids like to think things on their own sometimes. They need that parent guidance or even adult guidance, and the community as a whole needs that. So don't stop just because you are in a civilian clothing now.
Those MOS skills are absolutely transferable, and the leadership skills that our service people come back with are amazing.
Absolutely right, Tammy. Especially the aspect of discipline.
Oh goodness, yes.
Keeping yourself disciplined, and even though that's another thing about veterans is that we might disagree politically or philosophically on something, but at least we can sit there and talk about it and work through new things, and we have touch points that works, and not sometimes it just doesn't work, but we don't have to fight about it. So.
And unique perspectives that add so much. And the homelessness issue, I mean, they say that veterans are 50% more likely to become homeless than other Americans due to poverty, lack of support networks, and dismal living conditions and overcrowded substandard housing for our veterans, which is heartbreaking, actually. And it's just amazing to me that we have, on any given night, 76,000 veterans are homeless and asleep.
Right. Well, because typically when they exit, they feel like they're done and over with, and they don't know how to transition per se. to move on to something else that's a passion in their life. And so, yeah, that's my take on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake, again, you're speaking on Veterans Day. It is a Wednesday this year, the 11th of November, at the state capitol in the Rotunda. You're going to want to get there because it's going to be a great conversation, and it'll be packed. I mean, it's a big room, but it fills up quick. And what time was that again?
11 o'clock.
11.
That's right.
Very good.
Perfect.
Always great to talk with you, Bud.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
So much.
Roll Tide. It is 7:28 here at KMAS. We'll take a break, get to Mary Lynn Foster and the latest in local news, and more Daybreak on the way here on KMAS.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Gateway Property Management reminds parents to tell their kids not to eat Halloween candy or other Halloween eats until you have carefully examined them. Gateway Property Management says it is hard to believe, but there are grown-ups who distribute unsafe Halloween treats.
Our community credit union wants you to have a happy, safe Halloween, and that's why they remind you to trick or treat in your own safe, familiar neighborhoods only. Our community credit union says a safe Halloween is the best Halloween.
JB, that's a nice mustache you're sporting there.
Thanks, Bruce. This is my Halloween costume.
Let me guess. Burt Reynolds.
No.
Has to be Tom Selleck.
No, I'm Bruce Titus, and I have a real deal for you.
Hurry in to Bruce Titus Olympia Nissan for a spectacular sale with beautiful discounts on all new Nissans.
There's only one Bruce Titus, JB.
It's true. You are the real deal.
Olympia Nissan in the Olympia Auto Mall or on the web at olympianissan.com.
Count on me for the real deal.
JB?
Oh, sorry. Count on us for the real deal.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS. I'm Mary Lynn Foster. Shelton is going to study 25 sites for pollution and seek federal funding to clean them if necessary. Shelton City Commissioners Mike Olson and Tracy Moore voted in favor of the study this week. Mayor Gary Krantz opposed the decision, saying he feared a negative impact on future business development. The city staff is authorized to seek a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency through their Brownfields program, which provides money and technical assistance to assess sites, clean them if needed, and help sustainably reuse them. The action was requested by City of Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines. His proposal authorizes the mayor to sign a contract with Bellevue-based Stantec Consulting Services to work on applying to be a part of the EPA Brownfields process. According to Goines, the hazardous waste site assessments and possible future cleanup work could be a catalyst in the redevelopment of commercial and industrial properties in Shelton. The bear cub found wandering around a power substation in Mason County last week is one of 3 cubs that have been taken to Idaho Black Bear Rehab near Boise. Mason County PUD spokesman Joel Meyer said somehow the cub, whom he named Sparky and was estimated to be about 40 pounds, scaled the substation fence and wandered among high voltage equipment, including circuit breakers. Fish and wildlife officials used donuts to lure the cub into a trap. IBBR will fatten up the cubs, recover their health, and move them into a normal hibernating period. Jerry Apple, the teacher leader of SADD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, along with student Rachel, stopped by Daybreak to talk about the purpose of Red Ribbon Week.
So Red Ribbon Week is where we're celebrating basically people who aren't texting and driving and spreading the awareness not to text and drive and to buckle up, and explaining our club to people and what we do to spread awareness.
Rachel is correct in that this week we have been emphasizing the students to sign a pledge banner, and the pledge banner was provided to us by State Farm, and we've been handing out thumb rings to encourage the students not to text. And we gave out a lot of thumb rings this week. The red ribbon also means that we want you to be drug-free.
During the Shelton High Climber football game, they'll have a table set up for students to pledge against texting and driving. Everyone who takes the pledge will be registered to win a gift certificate. It'll be given away with a drawing in between the third and fourth quarter. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Summer is about sun and fun, camping, biking, and barbecues. It's pulling boats and towing trailers. This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet. Let's face it, summer is busy. The last thing you want to worry about is borrowing a truck or whether your old one's going to make it. Do summer right with a new or used truck from Whitney Chevrolet. You'll be amazed at our selection. There's something to fit every style and every budget. Check out WhitneyChev.com or come in and see us.
It's worth the drive to Whitney's, just down the road to Whitney.
Well, good morning to you. 7:33 here at KMAS, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Also streamed online around the world at KMAS.com. And you can join us on YouTube this morning. Watch the show live. See Tammy Newton here sitting in. She's doing a great job this morning. We just had an awesome conversation with Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake. Good connection there for you.
Yes, very excited.
With your real job.
Right.
This is just for fun here today, but whatever. And then I see that old Bob Burbridge stopped by, brought you some Airheads so you can try those.
So I can try those.
My goodness.
The number one Halloween candy in Washington State.
And yet you've never had those.
I've never had
amazing.
Never had them.
All right, moving to sports. Last night we had a football game for you. 36-7 was the final score. Patriots now 7-0 after beating the Dolphins. Tonight, high school football for you. Shelton High Climbers welcome the Capital Cougars to town. This game's got playoff implications for the High Climbers, so we would love for you to be in the stands if you can't make it or not near the area. Of course, AM 1030 and FM 103.3 coming in great in West Olympia around the Capital Cougarville, I guess is what you say. I don't know. It's right near my place, and it sounds good coming in. Also online at KMAS.com. Saturday is WSU Cougar football as they take on the Stanford Cardinal. 5:30 the pregame, 7 o'clock, 7:30 the kickoff there. And then Sunday, Seahawks are in Dallas taking on the Cowboys. Des Bryant likely to play, but one of the running backs, Joseph Randall, is not going to be playing. He has a back injury. So we'll see how the Seahawks do this Sunday. Pregame 11 and kickoff at 1:25. Later in the evening, Sunday Night Football, big matchup on the radio as the 6-0 Denver Broncos welcome the 6-0 Green Bay Packers to town. Wow, that's going to be a great one. We do again have high school football tonight. It's going to be at 7, and at 7, we're not quite sure what the weather's going to be like, though. Tammy, where are we at?
I'm guessing it's probably still going to be raining. So we have got rain today, about 1.5 inches today and 1.5 inches tomorrow. We actually do have a flood watch advisory right now, which I forgot to mention earlier. So my apologies, newbie here doing the weather.
If I had...
I know Jeff would have been on that. So we've got rain all the way through Tuesday, and then we get some sunshine. Jeff and I were talking about how they decide partly cloudy versus partly sunny. I'm just calling it partly sunny, even though they call it partly cloudy, but we'll have a little bit of sunshine. And then guess what? Rain starts again just in time for the weekend next weekend. Yeah. So I know. 59 degrees right now. It says it actually feels like 59. It says rain mist, but you know what? It's a little bit different out here. My friends in Seattle, they get the rain mist. It seems like we just get the sheets here.
Yeah, just the rain. Just the rain indeed.
Lots of it. 59 degrees.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line by email or Facebook. Now, from the artesian waters of South Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here, 7:37 on Friday, October 30th. Gearing up for Halloween tomorrow. It was so rainy this morning. Half of my decorations are all on the ground.
Oh, you decorate.
Oh, I decorate like nobody's business.
Wow.
And, you know, I don't know I knew it was going to be rainy. One of the things is we have a bunch of spider webbing all over the place, and the rain really does not help. I also have this ghost pumpkin head seance circle made out of plastic sheets of tablecloth and whatnot.
Wow.
I came home the other day and it was all on the ground. And it is still on the ground. I didn't pick it up because I knew it was going to be so junky.
Right.
And I was like, I'll just get up Saturday morning, make sure it's all ready to go. And then I'm very excited for Sunday morning because we'll fall back. We'll get that extra hour.
Yeah.
Hopefully Kaiser gets that memo and he is able to sleep an extra hour.
You're an optimist.
I am very optimistic on that one. And but I'm going to be up as soon as the sun rises on Sunday morning, tearing all that stuff down.
Wow. And then how soon do you, how do you do anything for Thanksgiving, the month of November, or you let that rest and then do you hit Christmas really hard?
I do. We've got a lot more lights for Christmas, and it's well, let's see, what do we got? Just 4 weekends here. So I'll probably, that first weekend, December 5th, 6th, is when I'll be up on the roof putting all the lights up. And it's a mess. I was thinking about your partly sunny, partly cloudy deal. And it's similar in how I think about the glass half full, half empty question.
Right.
Is it half full or is it half empty? And here's how I think about it. How was it before you asked the question? Meaning, was the glass empty?
Right.
You filled it halfway, then it would be half full. Was the glass full and then you poured out half of it? Now it's half empty.
Wow.
So the sun and the clouds the same way. Was it always cloudy and then some of the clouds went away? Or was it always sunny and then some of the clouds came in?
Well, if we follow your logic, then it would be partly sunny?
Partly sunny, I would say, because it's mostly cloudy now.
Right. Or mostly, I think, all with a couple layers, probably.
We got people listening all over the place. And, you keep this up, Tammy. Dale and Jerry are listening this morning, and they may tap you here, get you a little, joining us a little more often at a great, here's what's so great about humanity, I guess. Just the way weird connections are created, weird ways that if it weren't for blank, then we wouldn't blank. You know what I'm saying? So Tammy's in here, and I love Bud, and he's a great guy. He's fun to talk to. He wasn't on the calendar. I would have promoted him a lot more, but he wasn't on the calendar this morning. But we still had a great conversation.
Oh, absolutely great conversation.
Now, you had been on the books for a week or so. We knew you were coming in. What we didn't know until during and after the interview with Bud is the connection that you guys can now have with your new job for the county and the housing. And what Bud is doing with the BOO, he calls it the BOO. It's the acronyms, and the Commissioner Netherland and Commissioner Jeffries here in the county are aware of that, and they're working hard
on that,
on some things. So just the connection that was being able to be created there, some positive things perhaps could come from that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what do they say about the best ideas are borrowed or stolen? And they have got some great programs going, and to be able to talk with folks who've had success, especially when it comes to our veterans, but really all of our homeless population here in our county. I'm excited.
We'll have a break coming up. We'll have to check with Steve Kramer in the Fishing and Rec Report. After that, Tammy, what I want to talk about are tiny houses.
Oh, yeah. Love the tiny house concept.
And it's a TV show now. There's like multiple TV shows on this thing. We have some property in Grapeview, and just down the way from us, some of the neighbors built a tiny house. And they are very functional.
They're incredible. I lived on a boat for years. I lived on a 34-foot Tollycraft and then upgraded to a 44-foot Carrycraft, which is a Power Cat. So basically a tiny home that floats. Yard watered itself. It was great. My home went 40 knots. Gotta love that. So absolutely same concept though. And I can tell you, when you're in that environment, you collect so much less stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And you have more spending cash, quite frankly, because you're just limited on what you can collect and where you can put it. Unlike being able to fill the garage. And I mean, how many times do you drive by in the summer and see garage doors open and there's no room for cars in there?
Oh, yeah. No.
And
it's
storage
everywhere.
is big business. So I'm a fan.
So these tiny homes are sweeping the country in regards to help with the homeless.
Yep.
I've read some articles in Salt Lake City. I've read articles regarding to Dallas and other cities down south-ish, and they are working, and they have worked out the numbers. And in many instances, it's cheaper to build these tiny homes, about 900 square feet, maybe at the most, and then provide them to folks who are homeless at the time, rather than to use all the services and strains on the community.
All the systems, right.
And now there are, folks saying, well, you're just giving them a house. This is, well, okay, but if you spend $50,000 on a house, or you spend $50,000 a year keeping them in and out of jail, in and out of treatment. We've talked a lot about how you get that footing, you have your home, you have a place that you feel proud of, and it's only up from there.
Absolutely. I mean, think about trying to get any kind of service if everything you own you're carrying on your back all the time. How do you look for a job? How do you shower? How do you get any type of service at all? Where do you have prescription meds sent if you're trying to get your mental health in order, or just trying to treat whatever illness it is that you may have, whether it's high blood pressure, whatever. How do you vote? I mean, just the basic things. And so when people are like, but why are you giving folks a house? The question is are we upset because we're giving them something tangible? Because honestly, you're spending the money either way.
Yeah.
So do you want to spend the money and hope to raise all boats and hope to really impact a person and benefit society overall? Or do you want to just keep really kind of complaining about the revolving door that is what it is?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I've always wondered that what you put down and then for me, what I would feel is a kind of almost an embarrassing situation to have to explain. Excuse me, I want to fill out this resume. Unfortunately, I can't put a permanent address. I don't have a home to put it. Folks are blocking themselves from that situation. They don't even want to get into that situation. They don't want to have to answer those kind of questions.
No.
So these tiny homes are pretty sweet, and
they're very phenomenal. And when it comes to cost, next time you've got Sheriff Salisbury in or Chief Moody, just asking them what it does to their budget. This revolving door. It is amazing the amount of money we pay for that.
Wow.
So
that's good stuff.
We can
right
do
there.
better.
7:45 at KMAS and KMAS.com, AM 1030, FM 103.3 at 7:45. Steve Kramer has a recreation report for us. It's going to be, let's see, I was just looking on his Facebook page, and he says that the rain is good for hunting, but the wind is not good for hunting and could be dangerous. So we'll see what Steve Kramer has to say about this in his fishing report, which is next. Then we'll continue on with Tammy and myself here on this Friday morning. It's 7:46 at KMAS.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
This is Steve Kramer from Kramer Tackle with this week's fishing report. Modern firearm deer season is coming to a close this Saturday. The rut is just starting to get going, and we should see some good weather. Hunting should be awesome Saturday. As for fishing, the whole Chehalis River system is now closed to all fishing due to low coho numbers. That includes the Satsum, Wainuchi, Skookumchuck, Newaukum, etc. Compound that with the North Sound closures, and we are very limited on fishing options. If you are looking for a fish, you are limited to the Cowlitz, the Kalama, or some of the Olympic Peninsula rivers. But if you want to stay close, I would consider chum fishing. I would hit Hoodsport, Kennedy Creek, or Mule Creek. Anchovies under a float is the way to go, or a red and purple jig. So if you can, please take a kid fishing and make sure you check out the recreation page at KMAS.com. And don't forget my site, KramerTackleandGuide.com. This is Steve Kramer. Thanks for listening and good fishing.
Shelton, you make us smile. Delta Dental of Washington will be in town November 2nd through 4th in Mason County. We want to hear from you. Tell us today, who makes you smile? And those who may need a smile boost. Delta Dental will be in town promoting random acts of smile power. Email your nominations today to smilepower@deltadentalwa.com. Delta Dental, celebrating the power of smiles in Shelton. and across Washington.
To those who say, just as the sun rises in the east, so too must breakfast be enjoyed in the morning, McDonald's now says, yeah, we don't really agree with that. Introducing McDonald's new all-day breakfast menu. Now you can get a hot and freshly made Egg McMuffin sandwich, hash browns, and other delectable breakfast tastes day and night. It's time to start enjoying the breakfast you love anytime you wish. Breakfast items vary by location. Deliciousness doesn't.
Some people say it's an excellent source of antioxidants.
And it tastes great.
Others say it can actually lower stress and soothe your senses.
And it tastes great.
It's even been said to reduce high blood pressure.
And it tastes great.
It's McCafe iced green tea, and it's brewed fresh daily with simple ingredients. So come into your locally owned and operated Northwest McDonald's and enjoy a delicious cup any time of day.
Hey!
And yes, as you might have already heard, it tastes great.
Thank you.
Price of participation may vary.
The Chad Benson Show.
Look, I've said all along, Obamacare is here to stay. You knew I didn't like it because I don't like the government being involved in anything. But I also knew that once it got involved, it was never going away. And this was eventually going to lead to a system that became a single-payer system. We will have a single-payer system in the next decade.
The Chad Benson Show.
Hi, this is Chad Benson. Please check out my show this afternoon from 3 to 6 on KMAS News Radio.
Tune in all season long to NFL Preview right here on Westwood One. Hi, this is Boomer Esiason. Join me and Scott Graham each week as we preview the entire NFL schedule. We'll break down each matchup and tell you what to watch out for so you can be ready for all the NFL action. If you want the most comprehensive look inside the National Football League, then you need to tune into NFL Preview right here.
7:30 Sunday morning on AM 1030, FM 103.3, KMAS News Radio.
Hi, this is Deb Riley from Mason County Public Health and Human Services, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Thanks, Deb. Deb's a great guest here on Daybreak as well. It is a Friday morning here, the 30th of October, last day, second to last day of October. And Tammy Newton's in here. She's been... she says, yeah, I knew Dale was going to be gone last week. And so I was trying to figure out, I says, I need to have a guest or got to have a guest host. We all found out what happened yesterday.
Yesterday was great. I listened. It was great.
Well, whatever. Regardless, it's a lot. My mom texted me after the show and she says, boy, you just sounded so lonely. And yeah, okay, I'll buy that. I mean, I know that I'm not alone and I thank you guys for being with me. And so but just having the physical presence of another person.
Someone to throw something to.
I could have been like that, something to say, take over. I could have done what that person did in the HOV lane the other day.
Goodness.
Did you see that?
What on earth?
They put like some scary baby, Halloween baby.
Like worse than Chucky.
As their HOV, their second passenger.
Right. In the front seat even. So even if it had been an actual child, it would...
Yeah, right? So that if the scary child was legit, I mean, they should have gotten another ticket just for that one because there was no seatbelt.
Oh,
it's kind of like that when that person had the most interesting man in the world as their... and we hear these every so often. People put dummies in their passenger sides to get the HOV lanes. Fortunately, around here, there's some traffic snarls every so often, but nothing like where people have to go, I'm gonna put some creepy Halloween baby in my passenger seat so I can get in. Whatever.
I feel sorry for the officers pulling those folks over.
You may feel sorry, but those are the folks that you want to hang out with at the Christmas parties because they got the best stories. I'm looking at the Facebook and the KMAS. We've recently changed our comment section on KMAS.com to have Facebook integration. And there was some big back and forth on whether or not to do this, but we feel as though it is helping to help hold people accountable. I'm laughing here because we have the story on the Washington Patrol to do emphasis on the move over laws.
Right.
And our good friend of the station, Daryl, posted, he goes, "That's the Florida's Move Over logo." Whatever. It works. It's all the same.
Darn it all.
And then Angie, who was on the air with us yesterday, she's the Community Outreach Director at Maple Glen Senior Living. A reminder, today by 5, I believe, is the deadline to turn in your pumpkins for the big pumpkin contest at Maple Glen.
It was so great to hear her on the radio.
Oh, she's fun.
Yeah.
And tomorrow in the late afternoon into the evening is when Maple Glen will be open for the kids to come on by. There's going to be games, and the residents there will have candy to pass out to the kids. And so that'll be a lot of fun. Again, at Maple Glen, we had a great chat with Angie yesterday about that. So this move over law, I mentioned her because she goes, "I didn't know this was a law until now." And it's the move over law. Washington State Patrol will be working this week to make sure motorists know they need to move over when they see emergency vehicles on the side of the road. Now, this is emergency vehicles on the side of the road. Chief John Batiste announced Monday that the patrol will be conducting emphasis patrols statewide from Tuesday to Thursday to bring increased awareness to the move over law. Now, between 2007 and 2014, listen to this. So that's 7 years.
Right.
212 patrol vehicles have been struck while troopers were conducting traffic stops or even providing motorist assistance.
Right.
So basically what I'm talking about here is when you see the lights up ahead and the cops are on this, people will not be paying attention and they could drift a little and even sideswipe these cars.
Yeah.
Or I've also heard stories of people, it's the middle of the night and there's a car up ahead and you see the car's brake lights. Now, it's dark enough for you not to kind of really be able to see the roadway very well.
Right.
So you are assuming that car is in the road driving in the lane.
Oh.
And so what happens is you start to key in on that and then you follow it as if it were, and then the next thing you know, you hit it.
You hit it. Wow.
So
well, and we get, rain like today and it's dark out and you're really driving by Braille, I mean, there are times that you're hoping that you find the your lane.
Yeah.
And it's not just the cars. I have a good friend who's a first responder and he was hit on the side while rendering aid. And so, he's gone through months of physical therapy and just getting back to work. And so, Greg's had a tough road of it. And thankfully, he survived. If you can imagine, rendering aid on the side of the road. And next thing you know, you're in the air needing aid.
Yeah.
So it is a big deal. And it is worth taking a moment to move over when you can.
State law requires drivers approaching an emergency zone to either move to another lane in the same direction if possible or proceed with caution and reduce the speed of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So last year alone, they stopped more than 4,000 folks in regards to this. So just kind of be cautious and aware of that. That's what's going on. That's that move over law. Another thing to keep in mind is that tomorrow night, right, Halloween, and we're talking about the rain and the conditions. And so Tammy's doing the weathers today, so we're going to get her expert opinion on this. What do we think for trick-or-treat times? Do we think that it's still going to be pretty rainy throughout the day? Yesterday, I was talking about maybe there will be trying to get people to be aware that if the rain lulls, that's when everyone's going to rush out to get the candy. And they're going to be zipping and zooping and all over the place.
Do you think they'll rush out? Because I don't know. When I was a kid, I welcomed Halloween and the launch of the chocolate holidays. I was in Idaho. So snow, rain, sleet, whatever, ice, cold weather. We were out. We were just out.
Now, you said that you were going to be the Morton Salt Girl. and we know that the Morton Salt Girl has an umbrella.
She does.
And a slicker and boots.
And a hat, even.
And
a boot.
So either everyone's going to change their costumes to the Salt Girl or a longshoreman.
Right.
To try to get their way through here. Right? Or the bad guy from I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Kim Clint over at Mason Matters. She's from Calgary. So we were talking about Halloween costumes. And she was saying, it's cold, it's snowy. So you get all dressed up in your costumes. And then all the snow gear goes on. So Yeah.
That's funny. I know my mom brought out her classic. She dresses up in a monk outfit and puts the logos of Doritos and Cheetos and Lay's, and she's a chipmunk.
I love it.
That's one of her classics.
Did you ever do the bad masks, the one you couldn't breathe as
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Will your trick-or-treater sport a trendy costume or a timeless classic? A look at what's hot for Halloween on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom27.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom27.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom27.com. Go to freedom27.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom27.com.
With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Friday, October 30th, the 303rd day of the year. Actor Henry the Fonz Winkler celebrates a birthday, and Orson Welles' radio drama The War of the Worlds was broadcast on this night in 1938. We can't predict which Halloween costumes you'll find at your front door this weekend, but each year brings both trendy and classic get-ups. Last year's top costume was Elsa the Snow Queen from the Disney movie Frozen. Zombies and ninjas have had strong showings in recent years, snagging the number 2 and 3 rankings. Then come the timeless classics, pirates, witches, vampires, and the ever-popular scary clown. When dressing your little ghoul this weekend, keep safety in mind. Be sure they can see well, won't trip on their costume, and are easily seen by others. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Check our advice of the day at almanac.com.
CNBC Business Radio reports are on KMAS Shelton, Monday through Friday, 6:58, 1:33, and 4:33.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. President Obama is sending U.S. troops into Syria in what the White House calls an enhancement of the existing assist mission in Iraq against ISIS. More from ABC's Aaron Katersky.
President Obama has authorized between 50 and 100 Special Forces troops to go into Syria to work with a rebel group fighting ISIS. We're told these troops will work along the Syrian border, not on the front lines, with the Syrian Arab coalition to provide training, assistance, and advising. This is a similar role U.S. troops are playing in Iraq. In Syria, we're told they'll help coordinate airstrikes, but are not going to see combat.
The Senate worked well into the wee hours of the morning to pass a budget agreement. It provides $80 billion more for military and domestic programs, paid for with spending cuts and revenue increases. President Obama applauded lawmakers for working together. The NTSB is investigating a fire that broke out in the engine of a plane as it taxied for takeoff in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, forcing the hurried evacuation of over 100 people. Several were hurt. ABC's David Curley has details.
This dynamic 767 Airways was cleared to take off to Venezuela when another pilot sees fluid leaking from the left wing. The pilot hears that, he acknowledges it, but within 10 seconds the engine explodes into flames and the aircraft's evacuated. Most of these injuries, more than 20, were in the evacuation. Scrapes, somebody fell, hit their head. That's where most of the injuries occurred.
It's not a good sign for the upcoming holiday season. Consumer spending was up just 0.1% in September, the smallest increase in 8 months. Fiat Chrysler is recalling nearly 900,000 Jeep, Dodge, and SUVs because of possible problems with brakes and airbags that open for no reason. When the Mets take the field at home, they wear uniforms picked by their starting pitcher, whether it's traditional white or pinstripes. Game 3 is tonight in New York. The Royals have a 2-0 lead. This is the weekend we get to add an hour to a good night's sleep. The clocks go back Saturday night before you go to bed 1 hour for daylight saving time. This is ABC News.
Results not typical. Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000 in personal or business taxes and you can't afford to pay? You have the right to tax representation. Join satisfied clients like Victoria. She owed the IRS $32,000. They accepted $300. She saved $31,700. Leroy owed $21,000. The IRS accepted $500 and he saved $20,500. Get tax representation and save too. Call 800-556-7089. Has the IRS threatened to shut down your business, freeze your bank accounts, take your home, your cars, or garnish your wages? You may qualify for special programs to stop this process. Get tax representation. The industry experts with negotiating with the IRS with an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call today and the IRS will be contacted the same day, putting a stop to bank levies and wage garnishments. Call the tax representation hotline at 800-556-7089. 800-556-7089. That's 800-556-7089.
Followers of the Greater Church of Lucifer will soon have a place to gather. ABC's Jim Ryan in Texas says it plans to open its first church building.
In a neighborhood north of Houston, the signs for the Greater Church of Lucifer have attracted a lot of attention and one apparent act of vandalism. Despite that, says organizer Michael W. Ford,
we're going to continue and we're not going to stop. I mean, we have the right to be here.
Next door, Joey Kinder runs a woodworking shop, and while his front window is filled with carved crosses, he has no problem with his new neighbors.
They're not disturbing nobody. They're minding their business.
Protesters are expected outside the first meeting of the Church of Lucifer this evening. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
This coming Sunday, Pharrell Williams will be singing at the Charleston, South Carolina church that was the site of a deadly shooting months ago. The service won't be open to anyone other than church members, but you'll be able to see it later in an A&E special. It's part of the network's new series to explore racial issues and promote understanding. It was inspired by Charleston's reaction to the shootings. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton is going to study 25 sites for pollution and seek federal funding to clean them if necessary. Shelton City Commissioners Mike Olson and Tracy Moore voted in favor of the study this week. Mayor Gary Krantz opposed the decision, saying he feared a negative impact on future business development. The city staff is authorized to seek a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency through their Brownfields program, which provides money and technical assistance to assess sites, clean them if needed, and help sustainably reuse them. The action was requested by City of Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines. His proposal authorizes the mayor to sign a contract with Bellevue-based Stantec Consulting Services to work on applying to be a part of the EPA Brownfields process. According to Goines, the hazardous waste site assessments and possible future cleanup work could be a catalyst in the redevelopment of commercial and industrial properties in Shelton. The bear cub found wandering around a power substation in Mason County last week is one of 3 cubs that have been taken to Idaho Black Bear Rehab near Boise. Mason County PUD spokesman Joel Meyer said somehow the cub, whom he named Sparky and was estimated to be about 40 pounds, scaled the substation fence and wandered among high voltage equipment, including circuit breakers. Fish and wildlife officials used donuts to lure the cub into a trap. IBBR will fatten up the cubs, recover their health, and move them into a normal hibernating period. Jerry Apple, the teacher leader of SADD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, along with student Rachel, stopped by Daybreak to talk about the purpose of Red Ribbon Week.
So Red Ribbon Week is where we're celebrating basically people who aren't texting and driving and spreading the awareness not to text and drive and to buckle up, and explaining our club to people and what we do to spread awareness.
Rachel is correct in that this week we have been emphasizing the students to sign a pledge banner, and the pledge banner was provided to us by State Farm, and we've been handing out thumb rings to encourage the students not to text. And we gave out a lot of thumb rings this week. The red ribbon also means that we want you to be drug-free.
During the Shelton High Climber football game, they'll have a table set up for students to pledge against texting and driving. Everyone who takes the pledge will be registered to win a gift certificate. It'll be given away with a drawing in between the third and fourth quarter. I'm Mary Lynn Foster. Your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
So what's up?
Well, you know what? This HUP stuff is going on quite a bit. I want to ask Art about what he thinks about that. We've been getting chatter. We've been hearing chatter about this.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is it you want to ask Art about?
HARP and
HARP.
CERN.
Whoa. Okay. Well, I can start with HARP. I can help you out. You don't need Art for that. The deal with HARP is it's being turned over to a university, if you can believe that.
Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell, live weeknights 9 to midnight on KMAS.
Life in motion. At Olympia Orthopedic Associates, we treat patients from head to toe. Our specialties include hand, spine, neurosurgery, foot and ankle, sports medicine, occupational medicine, total joint replacement, non-surgical pain management, along with physical therapy, diagnostic imaging, and a state-of-the-art outpatient surgery center to complete the continuum of care. Learn more about how Olympia Orthopedic Associates can get your life in motion at olyortho.com or facebook.com/OlympiaOrtho.
Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports.
Tom waits on the shotgun snap. Brady takes the snap. He looks left. He throws for Edelman with the grab. Dives to the goal line. Touchdown, Patriots.
On WBZ-FM, the Patriots ripped Miami 36-7 in Foxborough. Tom Brady threw for 356 yards and 4 touchdowns.
The guys, I think, did a great job tonight on a short week. We put a lot into it. It was an intense 3 days of preparation and felt like we were really ready to go.
New England is 7-0. The Dolphins 3-4. Miami also lost 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end Cameron Wake, who was carted off with an Achilles tendon injury. The Texans say defensive end J.J. Watt expected to play against Tennessee on Sunday after dealing with a sore back. 5th-ranked TCU improved to 8-0 on the season.
Hicks stays out there. They'll give it to Kyle Hicks. No, Boykin flipped it hard. Dotson scores again. Oh, my! Dotson for the score.
On the TCU Sports Network from IMG, the Horned Frogs crushed West Virginia 40-10. Trevon Boykin tossed 3 touchdowns. North Carolina dropped 23rd-ranked Pittsburgh 26-19. The Tar Heels are 7-1. NBA, you know the story. Over the summer, DeAndre Jordan was about to sign with Dallas, but had a change of heart and stayed with the Clippers. So last night, the Mavericks paid a visit to Los Angeles with owner Mark Cuban of the Mavericks in the front row, who said before the game when asked about Jordan, quote, "I don't even know who you're talking about." So over to the game.
Griffin down the lane. The lob inside to DJ. Slammed it home. Blake held on to that ball for a couple of seconds and then threw it up there for DJ.
On KFWB, Jordan said it was an emotional game. Blake Griffin had 26 points. Clippers 104-88 over Dallas. Game 3 of the World Series tonight from Citi Field in New York. Royals lead the Mets 2-0. Mets skipper Terry Collins.
We're glad to be home. We've got our fan base behind us now, and there's a lot of confidence in the clubhouse.
Giordano Ventura faces Noah Syndergaard. On ice, Dallas beat Vancouver in overtime 4-3. Edmonton, a 4-3 winner over Montreal. St. Louis knocked off Anaheim 2-1. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at KMAS 810 on a Friday morning. I'm Jeff Slakey, and Tammy Newton sitting in as well. She'll have a forecast for you here. Wet today and over the weekend, but we'll find out just how wet in just a minute. Turning to sports news, we had a game on the radio last night. It was the Patriots and the Dolphins. Patriots now 7-0. They beat Miami 36-7. Tonight we have a big high school game for you on KMAS starting at 6:45 with our pregame show. Brandon Sparks and John McGlamry, 7 o'clock the kickoff as Shelton welcomes the Capital Cougars to town. Now Capital is just a stone's throw away from Shelton, so expect to see a lot of fans from the Cougar faithful in the stands. So we're looking to you, Shelton folks, to come on out, fill those seats, make those visitors stand in the rain or do something different. I don't know. But it'll be a great game, and we'll have it on the radio. And we'll talk to Dr. Apostle in just a second about the playoff implications and things like that. So that's going to be a great game tonight here on KMAS. Tomorrow, different Cougars on the radio. This time, the WSU Cougars taking on the Stanford Cardinal. 5:30 the pregame, 7:30 the kickoff. The Halloween game from the Palouse. It's going to be very scary and very big for the Cougars. Now, the Cougars are doing quite well this year in the Pac-12, and they have a chance to tie up record-wise with Stanford if they get a win against them tonight. Seahawks on Sunday. pregame at 11, kickoff at 1:25, taking on the Cowboys. Des Bryant likely to play. Tony Romo still out, so Brandon Whedon likely the starter. Also, their running back, Joseph Randall, has a back injury. He won't be playing for the Cowboys. So we'll have that game. And then another football game for you to tell you about Sunday night, right after the Seahawks. And this is another big one. Green Bay comes to Denver. Now, Green Bay and Denver are both 6-0. So something's going to happen here. Somebody's going to get their first loss of the season, and you can hear it right here on KMAS. Moving back to tonight and the football game, let's find out what the forecast is going to be like. Here's Tammy.
Oh, my goodness. Well, right now it is about 60 degrees outside. It's rainy. Secure those Halloween decorations, Jeff. We not only have a flood watch, we now have a wind advisory.
Oh, man.
So we've got all kinds of stuff going on. So today and tomorrow, each day about 1.5 inches, so about 3 inches of rain in the next 2 days. And then only a 1/2 inch on Sunday, so we can celebrate that. So starting on Monday, it tapers off, and it looks like right now they're saying no rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what? Comes back in time for next weekend. So we're going to have our typical, I don't know, this feels like spring weather to me, but we're going to have some rainy weather and 60 degrees right now.
Spring? Where are you from? Who knows?
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from where I-5 takes a sharp left toward Portland, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here at KMAS. Kevin Newton sitting in and was in early this morning and through the day, doing a great job.
Thank you.
This is a big deal for you. This is like a bucket list, huh?
This is a bucket list item, exactly.
I'm glad that we were able to help you out here.
And Stephanie pointed out we're on YouTube as well, so it's not just radio, it's talk.
It's TV. It's you got about 3 or 4 things knocked off the bucket list.
Thank you.
Let's welcome in another great guest here to the station who comes by Fridays now, and well, he's around the station a lot more than that off the air, but it's always great to see Dr. Alex Apostle, who's been doing great work as the new superintendent. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Tammy. Thank you for having me this morning.
We got a big game tonight, but first I want to go back a couple days. We had a meeting, a gathering Wednesday night with you, Dr. Apostle, and the Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, talking about some things in regards to the school and the school districts. What can you tell us about that?
We're, as you know, we're having monthly open forums just to be able to communicate with our citizens and our parents about what's going on in the school district. And of course, safety and security is a priority one in our school district, as it is across the country. And so the open forum this past couple days focused on safety and security, and I was really happy to see so many people there. People were asking good questions. I had Casey Salisbury from the Sheriff's Department there, Darren Moody, our police chief, and myself, and I thought it went extremely well, and according to the people I've talked to, it was very informative, and that's what open forums are all about. We want to give people an opportunity to ask questions about our school system and in reference to our community also.
We've had a lot of not a lot, I won't say that, but last week or earlier this week, we had a threat talked about at the school. The week before, some kids were conversing, and as social media goes, we were talking with the Chief Darren Moody about this, and it kind of gets out of control very fast these days. Our parents, you said there was a lot of folks, but our parents are getting involved in this. They want to know what's going on.
Absolutely. Parents, of course, are worried about their children. And as a school district, that's why we're making safety and security a top priority. But we're in the process of continuing to refine our system. The first threat that we had at Shelton High School, I think we could have done a better job. But the second threat that we've had this week, we reacted very nicely and communicated through various channels what was going on. So there's some internal and external issues that we're focusing upon to make sure that we're doing everything possible to protect our students, our staff, and our parents who are in our schools. So this will continue to be a priority one in our school district. It's not going to go away. In my previous experiences as an administrator, safety and security was always a priority one. Nothing's more important. Great programs are important, of course, but safety and security is the top priority.
We talked with the sheriff and the police chief the other day about folks were perhaps a little upset. They felt that they should have been the first to know. Well, when an event happens, I should have been the first to know, and often, and in a lot of cases, that's just not practical for everyone. They can't all be the first to know. I know when there's poor weather conditions, there is now a system to send out messages either by phone or text or email. Are there phone trees like that when it comes to these situations, or is that something you guys are thinking of?
Well, we have what's robocall, where we can communicate with our parents, but there's other ways that might even be better. And we're looking at all options as we move forward. Again, this is a process that's under constant refinement.
Right.
You can never do enough. And so, again, we want to keep our kids safe and our staff. We want to be preemptive. We don't want to be in a situation where we say after something happens, we could have, we would have, we should have.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there as the superintendent of schools here in Shelton. I want to move forward and do everything we can to protect our kids.
Are you getting any kind of help or direction from the state legislature or any federal involvement on what guidelines maybe you can be looking for or anything like that?
Well, we're looking, of course, our police chief and Casey Salisbury, I mean, they're involved with this every single day, and they're great resources, and I work closely with them. We're going to be working with our educational service district to see what they can do to support us. Because we need everybody involved. This is not just the schools dealing with this particular issue. It's the entire community.
Wow. So that was a great open house this past Wednesday. The next one will be in November. Do you guys have a date set for that?
I believe we have a date, but because of the holiday, I'm not sure what that date is, but we'll be broadcasting that, letting people know.
Okay, let's move on to a lighter subject, the big football game tonight. Capital comes to town, playoff implications for the high climbers.
Right.
We can determine our destiny this evening. I'm hearing that Capital is a good football team, but guess what? We're very good too. So I'm looking forward to a very competitive game. Of course, I believe we're going to win. And then we'll go on to the playoffs. If we were, heaven forbid, lose, then it's up to certain things happening to determine whether we're going to be in the playoffs. So, I hope our team is in a position that they're going to make the decision on the playoffs, and I believe they will.
Awesome.
Looking at the standings, Shelton sits in the conference at 4-2 and 5-3 overall, as opposed to Capital, who in the conference is just at 500, 3-3, and overall a losing record of 3-5. So we're looking forward to a big game tonight. In addition to the game, things happening there. We talked with Jerry Apple from the Students Against Destructive Decisions Club. They are going to be there talking about no texting and driving, make sure that people are aware about drugged driving and drinking and driving. So that group and Jerry Apple is a great resource. And I don't know how much interaction you've had with him since you've gotten here, but he's a great guy and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to those kind of things. So a big game tonight. Dr. Apostle in and talking about this past Wednesday's open forum. Anything else you'd like to pass along?
Well, I just appreciate the parents coming out to the open forum. That's really important to have that cooperation. And again, they asked great questions. They were very polite, very respectful, and I really appreciated that. I just want to make a pitch that tonight is a big football game for our school district and our community. And if we were ever going to pack the house, tonight's the night. I know the weather is a little rough, but we're playing football.
Yeah.
And we play in all kinds of weather.
This is football weather.
The kids need the support from the entire community, and I hope that we have a full house.
Well, that's why High Climber Stadium has that big roof over the top of it, so we can stay dry. Dr. Apostle, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
It's 8:22 here at KMAS. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have some more conversations and expecting a call from Karen Shade for the stock market numbers this morning. It's all coming up on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
This is Brian with the LaFlame Group at Eagle Home Mortgage, and we're here to present your real estate resource Mondays at 8:10 on Daybreak. Listen in while we interview the most knowledgeable people who represent you at one of the most important times in your life.
Real Estate Resource with Brian LaFlame from Eagle Home Mortgage. Mondays at 8:10 on Daybreak with Jeff and Dale. Learn how to make sense of the local home buying process.
Join me on Mondays as I talk with local professionals who help you every step of the way in your home purchasing process.
New games and lots of winning at the Lucky Dog Casino. And every Saturday night in October, the Lucky Dog is giving away 40 tablets with keyboard and case. Don't miss your chance to get in on the winning. Hungry? Don't miss the specials at the North Fork Grill, now open to all ages. Weekdays, 5 delicious entrees for $5.99 each before 5. It's Steak and Shrimp Fridays for $9.99, and every Saturday is Prime Rib Saturday. Come on, get lucky. Minutes north of Shelton on Highway 101. The Lucky Dog Casino.
Are you still without a health plan? Mason General Hospital can help you get good coverage for yourself and your family. Simply go online to masongeneral.com and click on Washington Health Plan Finder on the homepage. There you can browse and compare the different plans offered. And when you find one that suits you, or if you have any questions, call Mason General's project supervisor, Susanna Lopez, for help in getting enrolled. Simply click, compare, and call Susanna to register at 432-7766.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
Take KMAS wherever you go with our new free KMAS mobile app. It's a free download from either your Apple or Android device. Check out the latest news, connect with KMAS, and even listen wherever you have a signal. Search KMAS in your app store and download our free KMAS app today.
Hi, this is Eric Mall with Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics. You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on News Radio KMAS.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:24. We're going to have a call here in just a couple of minutes with Karen Shade from Edward Jones, checking out the morning stock numbers. And Tammy Newton's been sitting in this morning, and as we're sitting here stuffing our faces of Airheads and Starburst, a story comes across the desk that you were talking about. What was that one about?
Cutting sugar in obese children leads to dramatic improvements in 10 days. You know how hard it is to cut sugar, though? If you start reading package, I mean,
it's all sugar.
It's in everything.
Can barely even have water.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, there, okay. We got Don Pinnell coming up in a little bit. I mean, that's an amazing study. One, that people pay for that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, I think there's a correlation. If we stop feeding them junk, they feel better.
But they have to quantify it, right? And so that's the thing.
That's an amazing one. That's pretty funny stuff. So it is Halloween tomorrow, and we are getting ready, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The weather, unfortunately, is going to be a little rough. Now, I'm looking at any kind of lulls happening, and yesterday I was talking about some lulls perhaps in the evening, but now it just does not seem that way at all.
No.
So if the kids are out, they're going to be wet, but they're going to be expecting some candy. So make sure you have some, or else you're going to be spending that extra hour on Sunday cleaning up your house. All right, Karen Shade's on the line from Edward Jones. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, you never did that when you didn't get candy from my house, did you?
Oh, never. No. I
can't say, I honest to God, I don't think I ever have.
No, I know people that I know people that have TP'd, and I know people that have received a TPing. I personally have never done that. I have a terrible arm. I can't throw the toilet paper.
Oh my goodness.
But Tammy is sitting in today, and she was talking to me about the fact that one of her friends is thinking about giving out toothbrushes.
You know, I remember receiving my fair share of toothbrushes.
Oh, no.
I know. See, really, for me, trick-or-treating was in Denver, and we had snow half the time.
Oh, I bet.
So we were talking about the coats and all that, and I'm like, oh, yeah. You had no costume because it was snow. I mean, I remember the first year we moved from Southern California to Denver, we got 3 feet of snow on Halloween night.
Oh, my God.
And it started as we were going up, so we didn't have anything, you know. We weren't dressed for it, so yeah, it was a little...
Everybody's dressed up like Ralphie's little brother on a Christmas story.
Pretty much.
That's funny. Karen, it's the end of the month, right? So
Yes.
what's Wall Street looking at?
Well, U.S. stocks are a little changed as earnings season winds down as investors turn their attention to economic data over the next several weeks to assess the state of the economy before the Federal Reserve's policy meeting in December. In today's earnings news, energy giants Exxon and Chevron reported better than expected results, helped by a strong refining margins. In economic news, U.S. consumer spending rose less than forecasted in September, while a gauge on consumer sentiment registered as a slight increase. U.S. bond prices are edging higher. So far this morning, the S&P 500, the best performing sector is utilities, while the worst performing sector is financials. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 1 point at 17,757. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down a point at 2,088, and the NASDAQ Composite Index is up 0.99 of 1 point at 5,075. This morning, volume in the New York Stock Exchange is moderate, with 212 million shares being traded, and decliners are outnumbering advancers by roughly 5 to 4 margin. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is down $4.74 to $1,141.21. The spot price of silver is down 8 cents to $15.51, and crude oil prices are down 21 cents to $45.85. In the bond markets, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.95%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is 2.17%. Stocks of local interest: Amazon is up $1.57, Costco is up 46 cents, Boeing is up 87 cents, Starbucks is up a penny, and Microsoft is up 53 cents. This is Karen Shade of Everett Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton. And if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590. And daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah, Karen, have a good one. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Karen. It's 8:30 here at KMAS. Marilyn Foster now has the news. Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton is going to study 25 sites for pollution and seek federal funding to clean them if necessary. Shelton City Commissioners Mike Olson and Tracy Moore voted in favor of the study this week. Mayor Gary Krantz opposed the decision, saying he feared a negative impact on future business development. The city staff is authorized to seek a grant from the Environmental Protection Agency through their Brownfields program, which provides money and technical assistance to assess sites, clean them if needed, and help sustainably reuse them. The action was requested by City of Shelton Community and Economic Development Director Steve Goines. His proposal authorizes the mayor to sign a contract with Bellevue-based Stantec Consulting Services to work on applying to be a part of the EPA Brownfields process. According to Goines, the hazardous waste site assessments and possible future cleanup work could be a catalyst in the redevelopment of commercial and industrial properties in Shelton. The bear cub found wandering around a power substation in Mason County last week is one of 3 cubs that have been taken to Idaho Black Bear Rehab near Boise. Mason County PUD spokesman Joel Meyer said somehow the cub, whom he named Sparky and was estimated to be about 40 pounds, scaled the substation fence and wandered among high voltage equipment, including circuit breakers. Fish and Wildlife officials used donuts to lure the cub into a trap. IBBR will fatten up the cubs, recover their health, and move them into a normal hibernating period. Jerry Apple, the teacher leader of SADD, Students Against Destructive Decisions, along with student Rachel, stopped by Daybreak to talk about the purpose of Red Ribbon Week.
So Red Ribbon Week is where we're celebrating basically people who aren't texting and driving and spreading the awareness not to text and drive and to buckle up, and explaining our club to people and what we do to spread awareness.
Rachel is correct in that this week we have been emphasizing the students to sign a pledge banner, and the pledge banner was provided to us by State Farm, and we've been handing out thumb rings to encourage the students not to text. And we gave out a lot of thumb rings this week. The red ribbon also means that we want you to be drug-free.
During the Shelton High Climber football game, they'll have a table set up for students to pledge against texting and driving. Everyone who takes the pledge will be registered to win a gift certificate. It'll be given away with a drawing in between the third and fourth quarter. I'm Mary-Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Arch Mechanical. Our name begins with affordable. Affordable refrigeration, cooling, and heating. Whether residential, commercial, or food service equipment, your satisfaction is of utmost importance. And with over 30 years of experience, Arch Mechanical Service is backed by a 30-day labor guarantee. Serving South and West Puget Sound, there is no need to pay for one of those big city technicians. Call 360-229-2139. Arch Mechanical. Our name begins with affordable. Shelton, you make us smile. Delta Dental of Washington will be in town November 2nd through 4th, and Mason County, we want to hear from you. Tell us today, who makes you smile, and those who may need a smile boost. Delta Dental will be in town promoting random acts of smile power. Email your nominations today to smilepower@deltadentalwa.com. Delta Dental, celebrating the power of smiles in Shelton and across Washington.
Beautiful area, that Great View Loop. 8:34, and a good morning to you. Starting to put the wraps on this big Friday show. Tammy Newton's been here all morning. She's been doing a wonderful job.
Fun. Big show.
Dale's got to be shaking in his boots.
I adjusted the seat, so
What, the seat's adjusted?
I moved in.
Well, that's it. Change the promos. All right, it's 8:35 here at KMAS. Good morning to you. Sports news: Patriots won last night. No real question on that game, 36-7. And I don't even know if it was that close. Also, we have got high school football tonight. Shelton welcomes Capital, and there's going to be a lot of folks making the trek out. I mean, it's only 20 minutes from Capital High School to here, 25 minutes or so. So there's going to be a lot of folks in the stands. So we just got to make sure that there's more Shelton fans in the stands. It's going to be a great game on the radio, 1030 and 103.3, and streamed online around the world at KMAS.com. The Cougars of WSU welcome the Stanford Cardinal Saturday night for the big Halloween game. 5:30 the pregame, 7:30 the kickoff, and then Seahawks Sunday. Pregame at 11, kickoff at 1:25 against Dallas in Dallas, and then Sunday night football coming our way. We've got the 6-0 Denver Broncos taking on the 6-0 Green Bay Packers. Whoa, what a game that game is going to be.
That's going to be exciting.
I don't even know. I'm still having a hard time.
Game.
Stephanie's making my picks this week because I did terrible last week. So I just, whatever. What's the forecast going to be like for the football game tonight?
Oh my gosh, we are going to have some rain. So all y'all out there, we are going to have about 1.5 inches of rain today. It feels about 60 degrees, outside. We do have a flood watch and a wind advisory. So that might add a little spice to the evening game.
Yikes.
Yeah. So we've got 1.5 inches of rain today, 1.5 inches of rain tomorrow, 0.5 inch of rain. And I am actually rounding up, 0.48 inches. I'm just calling it 0.5 inch, you guys. On Sunday, we get a little bit of sunshine starting on Monday, and that lasts us through Thursday, Friday. And now it's starting to say chance of rain. So there's a little bit of a sunshine maybe over the weekend. So we might have some good news for the weekend on the 10-day forecast. But for right now, lots of rain, wet roads, about 60 degrees out there.
It's Daybreak Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now from Shelton's Media Row, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:37 here at KMAS. Great conversations today. They'll be up on the Daybreak page just after we get off the air. Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake stopped by, and what a great connection that you two made.
Yeah.
Being able to work the two counties together on some issues that are both near and dear to both of your guys' hearts.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Definitely.
Then we had Dr. Apostle in talking about our forum. I am just amazed by the amount of community involvement that he has brought forth, but also, I don't want to put any. I also want to shine the light on the pool groups.
Right.
They really got the community going.
They rallied.
And interested in things that are happening in the Shelton School District. So that's pretty darn cool, too.
That's great.
It's 8:38 here at KMAS. Don Pinnell's Radio Real Estate coming up in, at 8:56 this morning. Tom Hartman after that. Dave Ramsey, Chad Benson, and then Alex Jones will be until 6:45 when we jump over to High Climber Stadium for the big Capital Cougar High Climber game. We've been playing around and talking a lot about Halloween, and it's tomorrow, and I guess it makes sense, but I never really equate Halloween with being nothing more than an American holiday for some reason. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all of our excess, and maybe it's the fact that I am in America and I watch American news and things, but it is everywhere, isn't it?
It's all over the place.
I mean, how did it even, where did we even get the start? Like, how did Halloween become what we see it as these days? Do you know? Did you figure that out?
Well, I did a little research, and it did all start in Ireland. So in Ireland it was. And so that is it. And there it's celebrated much like it is here in the States. So in rural areas, bonfires are lit. And all over the country, children get dressed up in costumes and spend the evening trick-or-treating in their neighborhoods. So lots of parties, neighborhood parties, same kinds of stuff going on. One of the things I found interesting is that in addition to bobbing for apples, parents often arrange treasure hunts with candy or pastries as the treasure. So, and then they play a card game where the cards are laid face down on a table with candy or coins underneath them. And then when the child chooses the card, they get whatever prize is underneath.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
A little different.
Yeah, but a traditional food that's eaten, and I don't know how you are on this, but traditional Halloween food in Ireland is barnbrack, which is a kind of fruit cake. I'm not a fruit cake fan.
Ooh.
I know.
Wait a second. So, fruitcake.
Fruitcake.
That seems to fly in the face of what we are familiar with.
That's almost like a toothbrush.
It is almost like, hey, kids, come on by.
And I
got a fruitcake for you.
And don't get me wrong, I love my toothbrush, but not as a trick or treat. So
look at you.
And the tricks that they play in Ireland, one of them is called knock a dolly.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
So they knock on the doors of their neighbors and then run away before the doors open. Those wacky kids.
Oh, those kids.
I know. But there's it's celebrated all over. Austria, Belgium, Canada, China, Czechoslovakia, England, Britain, France, they're getting upset with us for always picking on them, but they also celebrate Halloween. So Germany, Hong Kong, Japan.
So it is all over.
Korea, Mexico, Latin America, and Spain.
Oh.
I mean, Sweden,
yeah. Sure.
Alla Helgonstag. Right? Who knew?
I guess you got that going. That is pretty cool.
They celebrate from the 31st of October until November 6th. If I can get that many days of chocolate, I'm pretty darn happy.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know. Let's do that.
Let's move on to candy and what is being given out these days. And the best candy, the most favorite candy here in the great state of Washington, we found out early this morning, is Airheads. And now Tammy had never had any Airheads.
I had not.
And then from Fire District 4, the chief there, Bob Burbridge, swang in, and
he did.
He brought you some.
He did.
And so what do you think?
I they don't replace chocolate, I gotta say. So I'm still sticking with my original, which is the caramello. Or a Score Bar. Those are great too. But the Airhead, I actually like these better than Skittles. This thing reminds me of a Skittle, but it's less pungent, less strong.
Sure.
Doesn't have as much kick, a little more mild.
I've never seen Airheads in little bite sizes like that.
Did
little
Chief
bites.
Burbridge not bring the right kind of Airheads? And
Well, no, they just have different.
Another delivery.
That's new. I mean, the bites are new. I'm familiar with the long flat sticks. Do you remember how Jolly Ranchers used to be long flat sticks?
No. I know, no scary movies for me, and apparently I failed in the Halloween candy department.
Man, so when I used to be in elementary school at Mountain View and Lacey, I would ride my bike to Harry's Market and get candy cigarettes and flat, long Jolly Ranchers, and it was a hard candy. And it was a hard candy, and you could kind of suck it down and shape it even. I think they got rid of this because it was pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Regardless, pretty silly stuff.
Well, no, but there's a few years between us, so maybe that was, after my time.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. It's 8:42 here at KMAS, KMAS.com. In addition to all of the big festivities that are going on in and around the area, we have got tonight after the football game, Art Bell is back on the radio. He took a little break. He used to be the coast to coast guy. Then he took a break, and now he's back on regular radio, and he is exploding like wildfire, and people are really happy to have Art Bell back on the radio. He's live from 9 to midnight. Then we do replay him for you overnighters. But a special Halloween episode is tonight. So ghost stories from listeners will be talked about. And that's what's going on with Art Bell and Midnight in the Desert. Completely switching gears, but still talking about events. You were telling me about something at Harmony Hill?
Yeah, Harmony Hill, which, Harmony Hill is such a great resource to us here locally, and really to they actually have an international presence as far as what they do for their cancer retreats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do. There are a lot of people who attend. And I attended actually one of their retreats when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer earlier this year, and can't say enough great stuff about this local organization. So they have an early thanks dinner, and that is going to be on November 15th from 4:30 to 8, and it is a feast, a seafood feast, some regional wines and some delicacies that are prepared by renowned chef Zin. So
wow.
Can't go wrong there. So the proceeds benefit Harmony Hill. There's this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A lot of people asking for money. And one thing you will know is that when you make your contribution to Harmony Hill, you know where those funds are going to go. And so $85 for the tickets, and it's going to be again November 15th, 4:30 to 8.
So let's talk about Harmony Hill.
Yeah.
I've never been there before.
Oh, wow.
But you're a friend of mine, and you've been there, and some other friends of mine have spent time up there in recovery. What makes it so special?
It is really unique. I went right after I was diagnosed and prior to my mastectomies. So I was at the very beginning of the process. And what's unique about it is you're in groups, and I had never done anything like this. And it's easy to kind of poo-poo the whole group therapy or get, the movie comedies in your mind as to what group therapy is like. But it was really amazing how you had just incredible doctors who talked with you. They talked about nutrition. They talked about stress management, and really gave me, at least for me, gave me a real sense of peace in the fact that you have time to make some decisions. One of the crazy things about a cancer diagnosis is that once you're diagnosed, you're put on the bullet train.
Right.
And they just want to start sending you off to treatment. And I am annoyingly, as you know from my show prep on Halloween candy, a little OCD, and I love to have some data. And so I was doing a lot of research, and they really reinforced that you do have time to take a breath and really to pay attention to your body and what your body is telling you. And being in rooms with people who have been there, even though it's not the same kind of cancer. So literally in the group I was in, I was at the beginning, and then you had folks who were getting towards the end, right? And everything in between. And it was just such an amazing experience with an amazing group of people. And of course, the grounds are, if you haven't been up there, visit in the summer when all the flowers are blooming. They grow their food up there that they serve, which is amazing.
So it's really a place for people to, I mean, I can only imagine what it's like once you get the first diagnosis. And then, like, that's a great analogy, the bullet train. You're just going and going to get this figured out. So it's relaxation. I mean, it's like getting back in touch with nature and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's amazing because you learn a lot about cancer, and they have amazing tools and resources that are available. And Gretchen Shoddy is amazing, their former executive director, who's really the founder of the organization. And I mean, and the other thing that amazes me is it's absolutely free. And so they have couples retreats, they have individual retreats, they have survivorship, it's just absolutely incredible.
So what about someone whose partner, not if I had cancer, but what can you do for someone like Stephanie, my wife?
Yeah.
How does a spouse or a partner get involved?
Oh, the couples retreat. And it's really important because honestly, I think it's harder on the partner than it is on the person with cancer. And I'm sure, everybody's experience is different. Right. But when you're the person who's diagnosed, you're so immersed in your own survival and figuring out your own process and path. Whereas everyone around you is sort of at different places, whether they're facing your mortality and their mortality because they're thinking about death. I know for me, death wasn't really on my mind. It was more of survivability. How do I just get through all of this and survive it? When you have, I chose not to do chemotherapy and radiation. Folks who do go through chemotherapy and radiation, the caregivers have a lot of extra work. And the hard thing for them is that the person who's diagnosed gets all the attention, all of the love, all of the help, all of the support. And that's not to say that's bad, but what that does is it sort of leaves the other person on the outside a little bit, and they feel really drained, and they don't always get their energy and love reserves refilled. And so Harmony Hill does a great job of breaking out in the couples sessions, breaking it out and having some things together, and some things are just for the spouses or the significant others or the caregivers, and some things are just for the person who's been diagnosed. And that's another unique thing about it is you make these relationships and contacts, and again, people who have been there, people who are just starting to go there, and people who have survived it and are in remission and still have folks coming back. And so when we went to a couples session, and daughters were there, friends were there, spouses were there, sisters were there.
So it's a real worldwide resource, right? Just up the road in Union.
Oh, it's an amazing resource.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and some personal stories as well. 8:49 at KMAS. I know that sometimes can be hard to express that kind of stuff, especially on the air and in public.
I blog about it.
Well, I know you do. We're going to take a break here and then come back and wrap up this Friday. We're almost done already.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Daybreak with Jeff and Tammy.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Yeah, hey, Art, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I got a quick story. I was in California, and I was basically babysitting my mom's apartment. She had taken a week vacation to Las Vegas, and I was laying on the couch watching TV, and she had a big mirror on the mantle above the fireplace, and I had the sliding glass door shut. There was no wind, and the mirror flew off about 3 or 4 feet, and it scared the heck out of me.
Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell, live weeknights 9 to midnight on KMAS.
Hi, this is Rick Riz from the Seattle Mariners, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on News Radio 1030 KMAS. And
so that's how I ended up.
That is an amazing story.
We were just kidding. We were not talking at all. That happens, and we have no control over that. Those are weekly and monthly EAS tests, just so we know that our systems are working. In the event, we've got some big rain and wind coming up.
Yeah, we do.
And then, there's always the idea that's right on the horizon of a major earthquake. We're going to be focusing a lot on that into 2016. But that's what those were. Dale and I like to do that too. We come out of the EAS tests at the end of a supposed story, so people get the punchline. All right, so that pretty much, we only got a couple minutes left. We're gonna open up to Dawn Pinnell. She'll be up next here with a little radio real estate here, and she's got a great listing to tell you about on Island Lake. I believe that's the one where she's talking about today. Some great properties out there.
Yeah.
So that's Dawn Pinnell, and she's on every other week here at KMAS. Tammy's been sitting in with me here this morning. Great job. And a fun morning for sure. Surprised at how fast it came.
Oh, I can't believe
went
it's
through.
almost 9. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to have a good experience here.
Yeah.
And now I know that if we need to, I can just call you up and
and I'll come sit in and yak for a while.
You'll be here.
Talk. I'm like Donkey
jiff.
on Shrek. Talkingest thing ever there was. No problem.
What else is going on here? Oh, here's something for you. One of the other things that I do is the announcer for the Ole Town Artesians. It's an indoor soccer club that plays out of Evergreen. Their season tickets just went on sale. Just want to let you know.
Awesome.
5 tickets used at any of their home games, just $25. And it's pretty cool, and it's a lot of fun to watch. The Ole Town Artesians, they won the soccer logo wars. They have the best logo in the whole state of Washington.
Oh my gosh.
They beat the Sounders and the Kitsap Pumas.
That's awesome.
Our friends just up to the north, and so pretty much going on there. All right, 8:53 at KMAS. So you got 2 minutes left, Tammy.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about? It's all you.
Oh, awesome. I love it. Well, first of all, I do want to give a shout out to Jess over at Jess Mosley's retiring today over at Environmental Health. He's talked with you guys a few times. And so give him a shout out. Yeah, today's retirement.
Well, we should have had him on too.
I know. Should have drug him in here. Well, you know what? He's got nothing going on next week. He's retired. Drag him in.
I saw him trolling around Oyster Fest the other day with his clipboard.
Uh-oh. See? And then I also need to give a shout out to all my friends and family who are listening today, because that is just amazing. And tell my mom I love her, because, got to do that. And then, the KMAS website, by the way, y'all have Boo Boo on there,
Oh, we have a Boo Boo.
We have, you have Yogi
Boo Boo.
Yeah, I'm dating myself. Remember there was a Yogi Bear cartoon?
I know, but I'm just so used to us having problems on the website.
Sorry. So, I love this story because a few months ago, on the East Coast, there was a coyote in Manhattan. And the headline was, and I went and looked it up again because I wanted to get it right, "Coyote roaming exclusive Manhattan triggers massive police hunt." And in this report from Reuters, it says, after the pre-dawn sighting of a coyote on Manhattan's west side, the New York Police Department scoured Riverside Park with helicopters and ground units for several hours. Now, West Coast, we got a bear. And what do? Hey, Boo Boo, you want to go rob some Big and Egg baskets? How about a donut?
That's what they do, right? They give them food.
They do.
So what is it? The people in Manhattan are scared? They're not used to the nature?
I know I shouldn't pick on my New Yorker friends, but there's enough rats on that side of town. If you don't all understand what coyotes are good for, rodents, you guys should.
I never even thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
We have a huge rat epidemic.
I would be welcoming the coyote.
One of the new popular Halloween costumes is a rat eating a pizza from a photo that was on the internet that they saw a rat carrying a pizza slice around in the subway.
Oh, I saw that.
Did you see that
Yeah,
one?
I did see that. Now, are you dressing up?
I will not be dressing up this year because I have a lot more fun. Well, I don't know what's going to happen because the weather's going to be pretty wet. So I'm hopeful that kids come, and when kids show up to the house, my house is pretty decorated. And almost to the point where I feel like it may scare some of the kids. So when they show up, I really like to give them some personalized attention and talk to them about their costumes. And I know they're just in and out. They don't want to hear some old dude talking about being Wolverine or something like that.
Well, top adult costumes. Did you see that?
No, what is it?
Number 1's a witch and number 2's an animal. They don't specify which one. So it could be the rat with cheese.
Interesting. A witch or an animal. Well, maybe I'll dress up.
Yeah. And then Batman.
And Batman.
Zombie.
Classics.
Star Wars at number 5.
Tammy, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
You
so
did
much
a great
for having
job.
Me. I had a blast.
And now we know that we got another fill-in opportunity. Don Pinnell is next on KMAS.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
There's no place like home.
Information at your fingertips.
I'm JohnLScott.com.
Contact your John L. Scott Real Estate Specialist. We're here to help.
Welcome home. Hi, I'm Dawn Pinnell from John L. Scott Real Estate in Shelton, where we are all about helping you buy or sell your house so you can say, I'm home. Today I have another great listing to talk to you about. It's out on Island Lake Drive. It's got low bank or no bank waterfront, and it's a huge expanse of lawn that goes right down to the water, and it has this great little